Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with Jason Lloyd and Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We got Mike, Steve, and Anthony on the other side of the list. What are you cracking up about? Just that last conversation before?
He's out of line. Jason's out of line.
Yeah. You want to share that, Tyvis, or should we keep it moving?
Keep it moving. Keep it shoving.
Yeah. Let's keep,
it doesn't matter.
Let's keep it moving. All right. A lot to get to today. I mean, who can wait for the second round of the draft? Is this the first year that it's been two separate days for the draft?
Last year was.
No,
last year. That's how into the draft I am.
Well, it was Bronny.
They did it because of Bronny.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure there'll be so many eyeballs on the second round of the draft.
Cavs makes a selection.
Ooh, two big selections.
I wonder if the ratings will be on how many people will watch this.
Oh, terrible.
Nobody.
Terrible.
Nobody. Who's watching the second round of the draft?
There's going to be, I'm going to guess, 74 people that show up live.
Oh, my God. I didn't even remember the draft was last night until halfway through, and then I continued not to watch it. But
they said the coverage is horrible. Said the people.
I don't know.
They said between the NBA finals.
I mean,
and
Stephen
the
A.
draft,
Smith. Let's face it,
it's horrible.
I think everybody's done listening to Stephen A. Smith talk basketball.
That's sad.
Right
He just got paid $100 million.
I really like Bob Myers. Like, he's a valuable asset.
There.
They kind of talk over him a little bit.
Yeah.
We had friends over last night from out of town, so we had a big gathering. So I was kind of flipping back and forth a little bit, Guardians and draft, but I didn't think the coverage was nearly as bad as what they made it out to be.
Well, I mean, Malika Andrews said that Colin Cowherd got drafted.
Yeah, but I mean, you know how it is. I adore Malika. I'm not going to knock on her.
She's a friend of the program.
She's a friend of the program. But I mean, you got people talking in your ear. It's chaos on the set. Like, it was.
She's the best of that bad lot. So
that's true.
She's good.
That's true.
She's actually a good host in general. The rest of the crew, I don't know.
She will be on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, that's true.
Soon.
All right, and obviously the Guardians with a walk-off winner yesterday, as CJ Kayfus continues to hit home runs in the minor leagues pretty much every day, but apparently doesn't mean anything because bad players have hit for good batting averages in the minors too. So we'll get to all of it, but we start with some big Browns news coming up first.
We're going to dive right into it. We got a big show today. Got a lot of topics we want to get to, but before we dive into some Browns news we got this morning, a quick reminder that FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you have a winning FanDuel ticket, send it in to us so we can feature it here on the show. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game with your friends or put in some bets while getting sunburned at the beach. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or head to FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. And a reminder to send in those winning FanDuel tickets. But we start this morning with a little bit of breaking news out of Berea. The Browns have officially cut Agbo Okoronkwo and signed kicker Andre Schmidt. Okoronkwo had signed a 3-year... So I said Schmidt.
Okay.
But Okoronkwo had signed a 3-year, $19 million contract with the Browns in the 2023 offseason. We were all hyped about the signing at the time. We thought he had big-time pass rush potential, but he ends his Browns career with 30 games played and only 7.5 sacks. Bo, were you surprised at the move this morning by the Browns to cut ties with Agbo?
I was very surprised. And not that he's been a great player. I mean, he's just been a rotational player. But he's been okay. I mean, it's not like they have a million great defensive. It's just a weird timing on a cut. Like, usually when you pick up a random... First of all, they're signing a kicker. 2 years ago, they paid their kicker after he had his one great career year. Last year, he stunk. But they're on the hook. I don't know how much money with him going forward. What's their kick?
Dustin Hopkins.
Dustin Hopkins.
D-Hop.
Brad. I was going to say Brad Johnson. Then I was going to say Brad Hopkins.
Dang.
And then you straightened me out of Dustin Hopkins. Wasn't there a Brad Hopkins at one point? Was there another kicker?
No, I know Brad Johnson was a quarterback.
Brad Johnson was a quarterback, yeah. But anyway, so yes, I was surprised, guys. Because usually when you sign a random kicker in July, you cut some guy on the bottom of the roster that we never heard of, some undrafted free agent or something like that. So obviously, Agbo Okoronkwo, who I guess I thought was definitely going to be on the team, was far from that. So I'm not saying it's a big deal, but he was a priority free agent at one point, and he was a guy they used a lot, and now he's gone in a random cut in July or June.
He's got a dead cap hit, I think, right around $2 million. He had no guaranteed money on his deal, and he had a roster bonus coming up. I forget when now. August, I think, was a roster bonus of
it
like
was
$3
August,
million.
and it was for 3.5, and he would have made $6 million this year.
So they saved that money, and they only carry a dead cap hit of, I think it's just over one, somewhere between $1 and $2 million.
Yeah. All right.
So.
I looked at it like this. When I seen him get cut, I thought to myself, well, he's 30. When you think about the Browns, their philosophy and their strategy is they always want to stay young. They like the younger guys.
Isn't that everybody's philosophy?
Yeah, but sometimes you got some veteran players that's really good, and he has not been what they thought he would be. You think about Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright.
Those guys have had a hard time staying healthy, though.
True. But so is he.
Well, he played 30 games in 2 years.
He played with a torn pec, didn't he?
Right.
Yeah, he did.
He's tough, but he did miss
crazy.
some games.
I mean, that means he only missed 4 games in 2 years. That's not that bad.
I think that they must obviously look at those younger guys and say, we want to give those guys more opportunities. Kind of like the Nick Chubb.
So.
It's like the Nick Chubb thing. Like,
but I guess the only thing to me is the timing. Why did they cut him a month ago?
I don't understand the timing either. Maybe
that's not a big deal.
I saw someone put this on Twitter, and this is due to the timing.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% how accurate this is. Jason Tyvus, you guys may know. Bull, you may know. But you only have so many post-June 1 cuts, and they designated Tomlinson and Thornhill as their 2 post-June 1 cuts. So maybe that's why he was hovering around until now to be released.
But they cut him after June 1st.
No, I know, but
So
they
he's
cut
a post-June 1st
Tomlinson
cut.
and Thornhill beforehand to open up that cap space to use, even though they weren't technically released till June 1st. They had bigger cap hits.
So you're saying there's only a few preemptive
That you
June
can
1st?
designate as
Yeah.
But still, they still could have cut him 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
That's fair. I'm just.
It's much to do about nothing.
I think you go through OTAs and you
Yeah.
go through minicamp. Maybe you see some young guy. Maybe he's showing some flashes, and it's like, oh, well, why do we need to? We could save ourselves some money here, and we just cut him.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to what I've been saying. This is an experiment year. It's a transition year. What good is it keeping a 30-year-old Okoronkwo if you're not going to extend him beyond next year? Play the young kids this year and see what you got. Sort of like the quarterbacks.
But they're
Throw
not
them out
doing
there
that
and
at
see what you
quarterback.
got. Oh, they will. They will. Just because they don't do it week 1. It's a little different. Edge
fair
rusher
enough.
and quarterback. A little bit different spot.
Yeah.
And as far as the kicker goes, I
Yeah.
mean, D-Hop struggled, so
he was
you
terrible.
need to put some competition.
I can't remember
in there
his
to help him lock
guarantee.
in.
What's his gap? Do you have that info, Mike? Like, what's Hopkins?
On Hopkins, one
This
sec.
guy, this Schmidt guy kicked in the league last year, didn't he?
I've never heard of him.
I don't know.
I don't keep up on kickers.
You don't, huh?
No.
According to the Browns press release,
Oh, boy.
Andre Schmidt is officially in his first season out of Syracuse, originally signed to the Bears as an undrafted free agent in 2023. He spent part of the 2024 season on the Browns practice squad and played for the St. Louis Battlehawks in the UFL this past season.
That's why the name sounded familiar.
I remember him from the Battlehawks.
Well, he was on the Browns practice squad, so it must have stuck with me there.
And
But
Dustin Hopkins signed a 3-year, $16 million deal with $8.4 million guaranteed.
But what's he got left? 2 years on that?
Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal in 24. He's got 2 years left after this.
So you
Or
got
this
about-
year and then one more
So
year.
probably about $5.5 million guaranteed left.
Why would you guarantee money to a
I don't
kicker?
know. I
just
don't
don't. Unless it's the 1 or 2 best, and not just best for 1 year. The only time I would ever guarantee money to a kicker is if he's been great for a long time.
Yeah.
I still believe
just so stupid.
the worst kicking story is the kid that got drafted in the 2nd round out of Florida State by Tampa Bay.
Grammatica.
No,
No,
Roberto
Aguayo.
Aguayo.
yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe they did that. He was horrible in the league.
Why would the Raiders took? I know he was great.
He went first round.
Janikowski.
But he was worth it though.
No, he wasn't.
He was hitting like 60-yard field goals.
I don't care.
And that's back when that was unheard of.
Tyvus.
I was at the Browns game where this man kicked the longest field goal to hit it.
I don't care.
What you mean you don't care?
Taking a kicker in the first round is the dumbest thing ever.
So kickers' lives don't matter.
It's not
just
they
say
don't
that.
matter.
Kickers' lives don't matter.
It's stupid to draft a quarterback. By the way, Martin, when I was in Florida 2 winters ago, Martin Grammatica's brother,
who also kicked,
owned the Airbnb.
Didn't they play for Tampa Bay too? Grammatica, wasn't he a kicker for Tampa Bay?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he was a high draft pick too, like second or third round. So
that will never happen again.
What's his name? The Buckeye, Mike Nugent. Wasn't he a second round pick?
No.
Mike Nugent. I was about to say Mike Nugent went there, huh?
Look up what round Mike Nugent was drafted by the Jets.
I'll look up Nugent in 1 second.
Yeah.
With the departure of Ogbo, that leaves the Browns' defensive end depth chart looking something like this. Myles Garrett obviously locked into one of those spots.
All right.
Then you have Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright, and Joe Tyron Shoenka, JTS, the guy they signed from the Bucs this summer, as the three guys battling for that opposite defensive end spot.
Man.
And then Cam Thomas would be most likely the fifth defensive end right now if you're going off the depth chart.
So the Browns have nobody proven at the end outside.
JTS is a former first-round pick, so
what's he done?
Nothing, but it's the fact that he's a talent. You can take a
Mike
flyer
Nugent was
on
a
that guy.
second-round pick.
Mike Nugent was a second-round pick.
wow.
I told you guys.
47.
Will it ever happen? Will it happen again?
Jets? No.
I covered him too. I should know that.
Yeah, he played with Dustin.
You don't think a kicker ever will go in the second round again?
No chance. Teams are not that dumb anymore.
Never say
the first round thing never will happen, but the second round,
that's insane.
It is, but
if Janikowski goes to the Hall of Fame, and even though he didn't, I'm with Ty. No, but I said if he goes to the Hall of Fame,
But he's not.
Why not?
Why would
He's not going to go to the Hall of Fame.
He wasn't bad at all.
No, he was very good, but there's like 4 kickers in the Hall of Fame.
Well, soon to be 5.
I don't think his field goal percentage
Wasn't he
was
jacked too?
legendary. It was good.
He's a bar brawler, right?
He wasn't
Yeah, that's
jacked.
what
He
I
was
thought.
fat.
He's in bar fights, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a fat ass. Dude, come on now.
Right.
I know he's a great kicker, but first round,
If he helps your team win,
He was hitting 60.
how did he help them win? They didn't win. Did they win anything?
No, they did not. But that's not his fault.
Well,
He made one All-Pro team
one All-Pro.
in
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
18 years.
Told you he wasn't a Hall of Famer. Very good kicker. Not
What's
worth the first
his
round.
longest field goal? They got that on there?
Yeah, his longest ever
Yeah.
was 63 yards.
Good for him.
Who was it against? Do it say that?
I don't know who it was
All
against.
right, he's getting crazy.
But it was in 2011, the year he made his All-Pro team. So,
All right.
let's
On
move
that
on
kick.
to our next topic.
By the way,
Talk a
before we
little
move on
guards.
real quick, Mike,
Shoot.
I just wanted to say, just really quick, at Little League last night, there was something I'd never seen before on a field. My pitcher threw a pitch that bounced on the plate and bounced just in front of the plate, came up, the batter swung, hit it off the bounce.
Fly Guerrero did that.
That's true, you're right.
he did.
I've never seen it on a Little League field.
Yeah.
And he popped it up in the air. The pitcher ran backwards, fell back, caught the pop-up.
Oh, wow.
But most of the players didn't even realize it was an out because everybody saw it hit the ground.
Yeah.
And it didn't realize that we also had a catcher's interference in Little League, which never happens.
We had one of those the other night too.
Get your guys under control, Bull. Get your kids under control. That's
Did
how it
Guerrero
works.
homer off that? He got a hit.
I will look that up.
I wonder if he did that more than once because
I'll look that up in a second.
Like that.
We're
ahead,
going to
Mike.
talk guards because they walked off the Blue Jays last
they
night.
did.
But first, have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and spendings in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Jason Tyvus, Bull, it wasn't necessarily pretty, but the Guardians walked off the Jays yesterday. Jose Ramirez hitting the game-winning single in the bottom of the 10th inning, and it was a fun game.
It was.
For once.
It
Go
was.
ahead, Tyvus.
I mean, it started off obviously 1-0. Vladdy absolutely smoked one right over the fence to tie the game up.
Speaking of Vladdy.
Huh?
I said, speaking of Vladdy, we were just talking
One
about
of the
Vlad
Vladdies,
Senior.
yeah.
Okay. And then the next thing I know, David Fry's getting picked off at second base, which that's a shame. You need to come holler at me, and I'll show you how you get from first to second successfully.
Jeez.
Then
Can't hit or run right now.
Then after that, I then watched Schneeman hit a nice ball to right field, and it just stayed fair. And I was sitting there thinking, Bull hates this guy's
I don't
guts,
hate him. I just
but
don't
he
think he's
comes
that
to-
good.
He comes to, but all I was thinking about when he hit that was we should have had David Fry running in to take the lead. I think Nolan Jones ends up, I don't remember if he got a hit or he walked, but he ends up getting on base, and then my boy,
Signs of life.
my boy, he back from the dead. Gaviari is coming in here. Bang. Hits us in for 2. I said, we got the lead. We rolling. Next thing I know, it's tied up again. And I'm like, well, we about to blow this. Blow this. Lane Thomas is back from the dead again. Actually, this is what, second homer?
2 days in a row he's homering, yeah.
2 homers. So he's back from the dead. And then obviously Jose walks it off. It was a fun game. It was nice to finally see the bats clicking at least a little bit. Man, this team is unwatchable. I thought Gavin Williams was okay.
He was awful. What are you talking about?
No, he was okay. It wasn't awful. He definitely missed his spots. I was sitting there like, dude.
He was not
like,
good.
You can't. He was throwing some good velocity, but man,
Right,
he was missing the spots. So I'm not going to kill him. He's not what y'all hyped him up to be to me 2 years ago. I tell you that.
That's on him. He's
a
be better.
bona fide ace. This guy, you like Tanner Bybee. Oh, just wait till you see Gavin. That's what I heard.
Yes,
for 2 years,
and he should be.
And
and
he
he's
ain't
not,
that.
Well, he is at times, but he's not consistent.
He's not consistent.
He actually had been pitching very well before the start. I thought he pitched crappy yesterday. I didn't like the way he pitched at all. But it was a good win. I don't like the bunt. Well, whatever. It worked. So I don't like pinch hitting. I don't like pinch hitting David Fry for Kyle Manzardo. I don't understand why we're taking. I shouldn't complain. They won the game. Jose gets the big hit. It was clutched by him, and it's good to see signs of life for Lane Thomas, who, unlike a lot of these other guys that we're hoping for, has actually had some success in the major league. So,
Not much here outside of the Detroit series.
No,
He's been dreadful outside of the
That's true.
1 week against the Tigers.
yeah. In the regular season as a Guardian, his numbers are pretty awful.
He's a playoff player.
Well,
he wasn't against the Yankees
Playoff
either.
lane.
He had one good week.
He was for one series. That's it. But,
He's been good in June. Now, he was horrific in limited bats in May, April, and March, but in June he's been good.
Are you insinuating that Big Christmas is
No.
more of a playoff player than
No.
late time? Yes,
No.
you are.
No.
He did it against the Yankees.
I'm canceling Christmas. I'm done. I'm done.
All them
Done.
clips. What about the clips I be sending?
Done.
You see what he doing in Columbus?
Yeah, great. Keep doing it in Columbus. I don't want to see him in Cleveland. Done.
He need another chance. Biggie.
He probably will because they don't give any of their
one
real prospects.
chance.
They'll keep bringing up the Wilsons and the Schneemans and the Ariases and the and
He needed it. He had to get his confidence back. He's back now.
But God forbid they ever bring up a real prospect here. Although Arias,
We'll get to that, I promise you, in a second.
Yeah, no, I know. All right, well, what else is there to say about the game? It was a nice win. I got to be a cheerleader here.
I'm back on
No,
board.
no, no.
Win,
Listen,
I mean,
Well, I want to ask. Today's the rubber match. It's 1-1 in the series so far. You got Gausman. Is it Gausman?
Gaussman.
Gausman versus Bybee.
It
You know,
reminds
numbers
me of
on
my sister's
paper.
birthday today. I got a text her.
How does
Late
Gaussman
today.
remind you of your sister's
What in
birthday?
the
No, because I don't know. Said something about the. I don't know. I don't know why. But
You
go
make
ahead.
fun of my ADD. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I don't even
Texting
have
his
it.
sister in
But
the
I
middle
got
of
to
the
text my
show.
sister.
Jason, give us a little insight into today's pitching matchup. It's
think
a
it's
one.
the 50th.
What was it? 110 is first pitch today. We just got the Guardians
afternoon?
starting lineup.
It is.
Juan, Manzardo, Ramirez, Santana, Thomas, Schneeman, Naylor, Arias, and Martinez is the lineup today.
Who's playing first?
Manzardo.
Oh, Santana DH.
DH.
Correct.
Wow. Who is it? Bybee against Gaussman? Gaussman's
Correct.
good. Gaussman's a good veteran. He's been around. Had a terrible year last year.
Yeah, he's
so
not pitching well this year either.
Yeah. Tanner is what he is. He's been up and down. More. I can't even know. I was going to say more up than down, but I can't even say that. You don't really know what you're going to get out of him from start to start. So hopefully that starts to solidify itself. But Gaussman can get got today, for sure. I think he's on the wrong end of his of his career here based on how last year went and this year.
So you call it the guard. You got Guardians winning.
I don't. Yeah, you look at the Bybee strikeout to walk. I don't love that.
His strikeouts are way down. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, he's way below a strikeout per inning.
But, at the same time, I'm the one that keeps saying people are too infatuated with strikeouts.
True.
Get the
That's
outs.
true, but, I mean, he's got a 125 whip, which is a little high.
Yeah.
So, good pitching. I mean, it's a good pitching matchup. Gossman's a pro, so it should be a good game. I kind of like the under, if you want to make a bet.
What is it?
I actually don't know what it is.
What's wrong?
I just think it's going to be a really
8.
low-scoring game.
8?
It's 8. Yeah, I like the under. This feels like a 3-2 game.
Getaway days, a lot of times guys just want to
get
in and get out.
Well, the Guardians are staying home, right?
But the afternoon starts.
They got St. Louis.
Yeah.
next.
I mean more the afternoon starts.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So go ahead, Mike.
No, any last thoughts before we get to the stuff I know you want to talk about?
No, I mean, the lineup's still not really producing. I mean, 5 runs is a lot of runs for them. Somebody said to me, well, they have their record when they score 4 or more runs is this really good record. Well, I'm sure every team in baseball, when they score 4 or more runs, has a very good record. Except for maybe the Rockies and the White Sox.
They did score 4 more runs in back-to-back games for the first time this month.
Jeez, that's incredible.
So things are turning
think
around.
About how bad
that's
that
incredible.
is.
Looking up.
Yeah.
All right, Bull, we're going to let you react to a clip that you and I got tagged in yesterday. Just a reminder, everyone out there watching, we appreciate your daily support here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and help us make UCSS the undisputed #1 digital sports show that covers the Browns, the Cavs, and the Guardians on YouTube. You can do that for free by hitting the like button and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to helping out YouTube deliver our videos to people who haven't found us yet. So do us a favor, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Okay, Bull, you and I got tagged in this clip yesterday.
Yeah.
I already knew I was going to put it in the rundown, and then you said this has to be in the rundown. So you know what? We're going to put it in the rundown.
Let's go.
Andre Knott, who's the sideline reporter for the Guardians, was on ESPN Cleveland yesterday, and he was asked why he believes Chase Delauter hasn't been called up yet. Now, this was just Chase Delauter specific answer from Andre Knott. We'll talk about CJ Kayfus as well with this, but I'm going to let you guys listen to what Andre Knott said yesterday on ESPN Radio, and then we can react to what Andre Knott thinks the reasoning why the Guardians have yet to call up their top prospects. This is Andre Knott on ESPN Cleveland yesterday.
I am having people send me stats, grainy video, beautiful looking video of Chase Delauter. Andre, they talk about Chase Delauter like they've been following Chase Delauter for the last 5 years. And I've had to say back to them, you just learned Chase Delauter's name last week, and now you're yelling and screaming about him on Twitter. Right. Can you explain, because the optics of it aren't great, that we've got a big hole in right field and we've got a guy raking in Columbus who we won't call up. Can you explain the situation?
I don't think the optics are bad. I think the optics aren't great to those that don't have patience. And look, I think everybody wants Chase Delauter here. Everybody. But no one has seen Chase Delauter play 3 months in a row as a pro. And like that's a part here. I'm looking at something right now. I'm looking at AAA batting averages. And look, I love Chase Delauter. I love his story. I can't wait to tell it. I've actually seen him play in person, unlike most people that talk crazy about him. He right now is hitting 312 at Columbus. I don't have how many at bats, but I can look in a minute. Remember Will Wilson when he was here?
Yeah.
He's hitting 323. Let me see. There was one, that guy Noel, John Kennedy.
Yeah, the Christmas guy, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's hitting 314. My point to this is just because of those grainy videos continue, and I understand this is how we look. When they didn't call up Lindor back 15 years ago, I was clamoring for him to call him up. The one truth that we all know, no matter how much we want it, and I want Chase Delauter here tomorrow too. The one truth that we know is that 90% of players go back to the minors. They end up failing the first time they come to the majors. Whether it's Jose Ramirez, whether it's you name the guy. Lindor didn't go back. Shane Bieber didn't go back. But most players fail their first time they come to the big leagues. At some point, if Chase Delauter can stay healthy, he's going to be here this year. It's probably not going to be before the All-Star break, and I don't know that. I haven't been told anything. I haven't even asked. But I do know that there are a lot of people right now that are clamoring within the organization. Can we find a way to keep him healthy? Can we find a way to keep him being able to play 4 or 5 days a week? That's the most important thing to them right now. I understand everybody worries about right now, but what are you helping if he comes up and plays 4 or 5 games and blows out again?
So that clip just drove me crazy for a variety of reasons. Not one of the things, in my opinion, that Andre Knott said is a legitimate reason to keep him in the minors. So, yes, so there are guys who first of all, I don't buy that the percentage is 90% of guys that get called up and sent down. It's certainly not 90%, Jason, amongst legitimate prospects. Maybe if you add in all these like journeyman relief pitchers that come up for 2 days, maybe it's 90%. I doubt even that is the case. But if you look at teams' top 10 prospects, say, there's no way that percentage is 90% that goes back down.
It's probably over 50.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It probably is over 50. But why? So based on that rationale, you should never call anybody up.
No, see, I actually go the other way with, and I consider Andre a friend. I love Andre. I would go the other way with it and say, okay, well, if you know he's going to struggle, great, get him up here.
Exactly.
Let him see what he needs to work on.
Exactly. Get it out of the way.
And then put it back down.
Yes.
So and if he's going to blow out, well, then let him blow out up here. Why are you going to let him blow out in Columbus?
Right.
So I get it. Like I totally get why they've been handling with kids' gloves because of the injuries and all that. But at the same time, if your end goal is trying to win games, get him up here and see if he can help you win games. If he was right-handed, he probably would have been here already. I think part of it is the glut of lefties that they have. He's left-handed. Manzardo's left-handed. Kayfus is left-handed. So there's just not enough room to fit all these guys, which I think is part of the problem. But I don't know what else he has to prove right now, other than the ability to stay healthy. Which, if you're playing in Columbus or Cleveland, I don't know what the difference is on that.
Exactly.
So he's hot. He's playing well. Bring him up, and if he very well probably will wind up going back down. Bring him up now so he can get exposed a little bit, so he knows what he has to work on. Plus, it's June 26th. You have a month till the trade deadline. Bring him up now, or soon to now, should have been here by now as far as I'm concerned, so that you can see, hey, is he a piece that realistically can help us in a pennant race, or do we need to go get someone? Mm-hmm. You're not going to know that if you bring him up July 15th. I don't think that's enough time. So bring him up now.
Yeah.
Let him play, and if you do have to send him back down, which is entirely possible and probably very realistic, okay, fine. Then send him back down, and now you know maybe we need to look at the trade market. And he can go back to AAA, and he can work on the things he needs to work on. And if he gets hurt, that's part of the game, and that sucks.
The getting hurt part makes no sense. He could just as easily get hurt at Columbus as in Cleveland. I don't understand that take at all. I completely agree. Get him up here now. So if he does struggle, yes, there's a chance he comes up here, goes 2 for 32 and stinks.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But why not find out?
Jackson Holiday, top prospect in baseball, was horrendous. He struck out 18 times or over 18 with 50. So he figured it out what he needed to work on.
That's right.
They sent him back down. They brought him back up. He's one of the best young players in the game.
That's right. Like you said, though, when we were playing the clip, Stephen Kwan hit the ground running.
Yeah, Kwan.
You don't know who's going to. I've actually complained more about Kayfus not being up than I have even Delauter, even though Delauter's a bigger prospect. But Kayfus has been on fire the whole season. Now, his point about, there's other guys who have already failed here who are hitting well. Okay, that's fine, but they got their opportunity.
It's not just Cleveland. There's fan bases. Like, Boston was screaming for Roman Anthony and Marcelo.
But they're all up.
Kansas City was screaming for Jack Caglione.
He's up.
And now we'll see if
Same
they go
thing with
back
the guy
down.
the Reds drafted last year, the pitcher.
Burns.
What's his name? Chase Burns.
Chase Burns.
Most of these other teams have called up their top prospects. And those teams don't have the glaring holes. Maybe Boston did, but they called those guys up. Boston, the Guardians have, half the lineup is absolute trash. You can't tell me there's no room for these guys. Half the lineup can't hit.
Well, guess what? I looked outside and it looked like it's snowing.
No, don't. I will not.
I'm not interested in calling up the same guys over and over that can't do it.
It looked like it's snowing outside.
No.
That's just all I'm saying.
What's going to happen if Delauter and Kayfus come up and they both stink? Okay. It happens. That's life. Their careers are not ruined.
Did you see that snow coming down?
Yeah.
Man, it's beginning to look a lot.
I mean,
like
I got to say, and Andre does a good job, but like throwing in the line, two things. First of all, to say it's not bad optics, the fan base is pissed. I've never seen, in the 14 years I'm covering this team, I have never seen the diehard Guardian fan base that thinks all other fans that don't love baseball are idiots. That crew of fans, they're pissed right now. A lot of that crew defends this front office all the time, defends ownership, defends the process.
Yeah.
That group is pissed because I'm friends with a lot of people in that group, and they're always, whenever I come, and obviously I'm, you and I both, are way more positive in general about the Guardians than we're negative.
You're not.
100%.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
100%. Because I think they do most things smart. But I have never seen the diehards, the baseball nerds, be more pissed at the organization right now. My friend Hans, shout out to Hans, who is the most diehard baseball fan. He doesn't give a crap about the Browns. He doesn't give a crap about the Cavs. He loves the Guardians. It's his, everything. He's texting me nonstop. He's losing his mind about why they won't give any of these guys a chance. And for Andre to say, well, I've actually seen him in person. Okay, congratulations, Andre. Good for you. We can watch him on TV. It's okay. I don't need to. And listen, I understand the organization knows things about these players that we don't know, whatever it might be. He can't hit a curveball. He can't do this. I'm not watching Chase Delauter and CJ Kayfus play on any kind of regular basis. But if a guy dominates for the whole year and you have nothing, they've got nothing at second, they've got nothing at right field, nothing at catcher, nothing at shortstop, nothing at center field.
Who's playing second right now?
They're just mixing guys around. Schneemann.
Oh, wow.
This
is where we are.
I mean, bring me a guy who might be a great. You know what? Chase Delauter might suck when he comes up. He also might be the third best player on his team when he comes up.
What about Kayfus?
Same thing.
What about Big Christmas?
See, I think Kayfus is a little bit harder to fit just because of the position he plays. I think Delauter is the one that should jump the line and be in the front of the line.
I would move on
What
from
does
Santana
Kayfus play?
and
First?
First.
Why not? Here's what I would do if I were the Guardians with Kayfus. I would send David Fry to the minors.
I 100% agree with that.
I'd send David Fry to the minors.
He's a part-time DH who's not hitting.
That's right. I'd send David Fry to the minors.
And getting caught
I'd
stealing
call up
second.
Kayfus. I'd let Manzardo play first base every day and Kayfus DH every day for the next few weeks. If Kayfus is good and Fry's ready to come back, then I move on from Santana. If Kayfus stinks and Fry's ready to come back, then I bring back Fry. Whatever. You figure it out. But you could bring up Kayfus. If you're a Guardians fan and you heard this morning that they called up Kayfus and Delauter, how excited are you? Whether it ends up panning out in the next few weeks or not, at least for the next couple of days, you're excited. Yeah. And the fans are not excited right now.
I agree with everything you said.
You can't worry about that reason. I agree.
If you're Chris Antonetti, you can't worry about what the fans
Jason,
want.
No, but is there really a baseball reason not to call them up at this point?
No, that's why. And I understand Delauter's been hurt so much that he doesn't have a ton of minor league experience. That's fine. That's fair. He's still, what is he, 23, 22, 23?
23.
He's not young, first of all.
No.
You kind of just have to figure out what you've got. And I don't know right now what else he has to prove at AAA. It just feels like he's biding his time waiting. Yeah. And if Noel was tearing the cover off the ball in Cleveland, if Nolan Jones was hot, and which he has been better lately, but if Lane Thomas was playing well, if you legitimately could say there's no spot for him, okay,
I get it, of course.
But it just doesn't feel like that's the case.
No.
Do you think that this franchise sticks with a player for too long?
It depends on the situation.
That's a tough question.
That's why I'm here. There
are guys that they have stuck with too long. Jake Bowers, they stuck with forever.
Right now, when you look
Will Brennan.
When you look at right now the guys that's up playing, is there anybody that you would say, all right, I've seen enough?
Jonathan Rodriguez. I saw enough before he got here. I'm good.
Here's the thing when I look at the Guardians, to me, and people could change your mind or prove you wrong. To me, Daniel Schneemann's a bench player on a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nolan Jones just doesn't look like a major leaguer at this point. At best, a bench player.
His numbers the last month have been pretty good.
So you've seen enough of Nolan Jones to know
I've always liked him, so I want to give him more chance. I'm saying you're right. He's been better.
What about Arias?
I'm done with Arias. I want to move on from Santana.
I mean, I'm kind of done with Arias too, but what's the alternative? Rocchio? You're right.
No.
I mean,
I guess you got a point there. Well, I thought we had all these middle infielders.
No, not anymore.
What about Martinez?
he's not really
They're
shortstop.
just all guys.
No. I'm just saying,
guess he
like,
was
are you done with him?
He's never wowed me. I've never been wowed by Angel Martinez. Fine play, like he's fine, whatever. But like, is he a guy you're going to build your team around?
No.
Yeah.
And by the way, you don't have to get rid of Nolan Jones to go to Delauter. I mean, put Stephen Kwan in center field.
Well, they're not going to. They're not going to do that.
2 years.
They're not going to do that. I said that the other day. They're
Yeah.
not going to do that in June and July. That's a spring
No, I
training
know.
thing.
I don't know why it would
And
have to
I
be
mean,
spring
Jones
training.
can play center. He's passable. He's not
All
a
right,
gold
so
glover.
play Jones in center. You know.
I mean, personally, if you want to like if you want to talk about a list of guys I'm good never seeing again, Will Brennan, Jonathan Rodriguez,
Yes.
and Lane Thomas are at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Will Wilson, I'm sure you're a very nice man.
Yeah.
You don't need to be on this baseball team.
Dang.
There's just, I
Like DFA'd?
fine.
You want?
Well, I mean, Lane, you can't DFA. He's got,
Sheesh.
but I'm sure Rodriguez has options. Like you can option him down. You've already optioned him once, so he's already optioned this year. You can put Rodriguez back in the minors. But Lane Thomas, it is what it is. He's having a horrendous year. I don't think he'll be back next year. I don't know.
No.
He has no value.
No.
I don't know what he's going to get in free agency. Probably
Nothing.
not much.
Yeah.
Can Nolan hit left hand? I mean, look at that. How can I sit here and defend him to play every day against lefties when he's hitting 178? But
Yeah.
his numbers the last month have been a little bit better.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I thought that was Nolan I was looking at. That's
yeah.
Lane.
I'll give you Nolan Jones if you want to see it. It's not a whole lot
Yeah, it's not a whole
better.
lot better. But I do still think that there's something more. Obviously, they like Nolan enough to bring him back.
Yeah.
But you're just trying to create spots for me, it's to get Chase up and see. Can he be the everyday right fielder?
Yeah.
I'm with you. Manzardo should be at first base every day.
I
Put
mean,
Delauter
it's
in right
just
field.
crazy.
And if you have to send him back, fine. Then
Yeah.
send him back.
Right.
And continue
Let's
to
get it
recycle
going.
these
How has
guys.
Carlos Santana been hitting lately?
He's fine.
He's all right.
For where they're at, they need him. But I still think he's a trade candidate at the trade
If they
deadline
need him, why would you trade him?
to create opportunities for other
He's
guys.
a nothing.
But does
He's a
that
nothing.
not seem like that's punting on the season?
No.
because you've got guys.
How
that,
is it not? He's actually productive.
I mean, a 703 OPS is
Is
average.
Okay.
It's very
slightly
average.
below average.
Compared to who all the other people you
That's
just
what
showed.
I said, yeah.
The whole lineup stinks besides 3 guys. I'll put Schneemann. He's been decent. 4 guys. I think there's only 4 guys. I think his 703 OPS is the 5th best on the team. That's pathetic.
I'll tell you right now, Jose leads the team, 893.
Yeah.
Quan second, 799. Manzardo third, 748. Bull, what would you say is average, league average?
It's a 711. That's exactly average.
That is, okay.
Yeah.
Schneemann is at 742. And then Santana at 703. So
They have 4 players above average. And
3 above average, 1 very average.
no, Santana's
Santana was
5th.
4th. Oh, who was?
Yeah,
who did I
Schneemann
miss?
was 4th at 740.
Jose, Schneemann.
Oh, Manzardo. Okay, you're
Manzardo,
right. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So 4 above.
So 4
average.
above. Santana just below average. Everybody else is in the 6s or below.
yeah, it goes to Arias at 657, Bonello
Terrible.
651,
Terrible.
Angel Martinez 630, Nolan
Really bad.
Jones 617, Lane Thomas 525.
They need a spark in their lineup. That's what I think. And
Aaron Judge's odd base percentage is better than half
It's only
the
one
team's
man.
OPS.
It's only one man that could give a spark to your lineup.
Would you stop at that?
Who?
Who do you think?
Oh, my
Don't
God.
walk into his
Giant-
trap.
giant
He
kid.
keeps setting the trap, and
No
you keep
way.
walking into it.
Oscar Gonzalez, Fran Mil Reyes.
Hey,
Long list of.
I do have a little bit of good Guardians news to report.
What do you got?
This came out 2 minutes ago, but the Guardians have announced that Shane Bieber is going to throw a bullpen session tomorrow. So he could be over the
About
elbow
time. It's
soreness
been a while.
and getting back on track on his rehab.
I mean, he's not going to be back till
End of July.
August 1.
Yeah, end of July,
Earliest,
beginning of
yeah.
August. That's what I told you when this first started. He'd be end of July, early August.
All right, we'll see. Glad they paid him $20 million.
They paid him for October. Now we'll see if they can even get to October.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. All right, go ahead.
Let's move on to our.
Yeah, this is as down as I've been on the Guardians in 15 years.
It is weird
Isn't it
seeing you
depressing
see.
to have
I'm so frustrated.
just down on all 3 sports teams? Ain't it just depressing?
Yeah, that's true. I am down on the Cavs, obviously.
And the Browns, you ain't never been up for it.
Well, I have, but not often.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about the Browns Stadium. We got some finality to that yesterday. And
I feel
before
like
we
we've said
do,
that 30 times.
No,
a
this
quick
is
word from
Finality.
Rougit. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra or Cialis before. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougit Ready. Rougit Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rougit's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast. On average, just 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. Head to Rougit.com/LockedOnNFL, just like it's spelled on your screen, and use promo code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's Rougit.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL, and use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compound drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing reviews. Please visit the Rougit website for full safety information. All right, guys, the Ohio lawmakers rewrote the Modell law yesterday, allowing...
Well, I wasn't there, Mike. So if I wasn't there, I don't have a good feel for it. You know?
Stop it.
Okay.
Mike doesn't get that.
Yeah, I kind of missed that one.
Okay.
We just talked.
Yeah, forget it.
But they rewrote the Modell law. This officially paves the path forward for the Brook Park Dome to officially happen. The back and forth appears to be over. Jason, you are the most knowledgeable Brown Stadium person I know, so I'm going to ask you to give everybody a brief explanation of the steps that happened yesterday and what this means moving forward for not just the Browns, but the city.
This means the Browns scored a rare victory. That's what this means.
Good.
The Browns are getting everything they want. They're getting the $600 million from the state. The Modell law is not going to stand in their way. I have to say, I'm not an attorney. Don't plan to be one. Don't pretend to play one. I can't recall another time where lawmakers literally rewrote the law in the middle of a court case. Like the city's case was ongoing against the Browns, and lawmakers were like, here, give me a pen and paper. I'll take care of this, and there you go. So, I mean, I don't love the way that they rewrote the law.
Well, Jimmy gave enough handouts to the politicians.
I don't love the way that they rewrote it, but for the Browns, they got everything they wanted. They're getting the $600 million from the state. They're getting a new stadium. This is happening. Shovels will be in the ground probably early next year, and this thing will open in 2029. But this is yes, I know we've had to talk about this 100 different times, 100 different ways. But yesterday was significant because it was sort of like the finality to the whole thing. It's not officially official, but it's as close to officially official as it can be.
This thing been official
a
long time ago.
Billionaires get what they want always.
When we did the show where any old people, whatever, tweeted out that Jimmy Haslam in the group has bought land in Brook Park.
Yeah.
It was done. I don't know why this is ongoing. Like, you can fight it all you want. It was happening that day. When that report came out, it was happening. Question, is it true that Jimmy had built lower.com in Columbus?
Built what?
The soccer field, the Columbus Crew.
Did he build that out of? I have no idea how that was funded. I don't know. I'm sure he probably has something
into it. What does that have to
do
with this?
Well, because he owns the Crew.
Yeah,
it's the Crew's new stadium.
No, because they were saying like they put the renderings out for lower field, like what it was gonna look like, and they said like what the actual thing was, it's not quite what the rendering.
Of course, yeah.
So they was saying when you look at Brook Park, like the rendering looks great, but they still in Columbus is still.
Well, if you
are people going to Brook Park to do all their shopping just because the stadium's there? I'm not convinced of that.
That is a great debate.
Yeah, I mean Crocker Park's pretty nice on the west side.
And I actually when we were in West Virginia,
Pinecrest, Beechwood.
Yep.
Oh, you're throwing out like Pinecrest.
Go ahead.
When come on, West Virginia. What was the practice?
Greenbrier.
Thank you.
Greenbrier.
We were at the Greenbrier, and all the writers are sitting around one night, and we had that conversation. And maybe Ant can speak to this because he lives in Parma. Like, Crocker's beautiful. The one on the east side is beautiful.
Yeah.
Where do the people who live in Parma, are they coming to Crocker? Will they go to Brook Park? You know what I mean? Like, how far
Anthony,
will
go ahead. What
I was going to say South Park is my go-to mall, or Great Northern.
That was the other one.
So Crocker's a little out of the way.
Okay, so but I bet that they're, like, listen, I'm on the west side. I'm in Avon Lake. You're in Rocky River. I ain't going to Brook Park to shop.
No.
But there's other people with Lakewood.
Maybe. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cleveland, like west side of Cleveland, yeah. So I do think that is there enough to support it? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care because that's Jimmy. But
How far is Brook Park in this proposed dome shopping complex from like here, where we're sitting right now?
Like 15.
it'd take 15 minutes. With no traffic, it's 15.
Right down 71.
So basically the same distance it takes to get to Crocker Park from here.
Yeah.
Crocker might
but you
be a
gotta think
couple
about the
minutes
east side.
longer.
No, I'm just saying from
the east
right
side,
here.
like
I'm
10
just trying to
minutes.
visualize in my head.
Yeah,
not
from
for-
here you jump. It's just you jump on 90 versus jumping on 71.
Right.
I mean, it's,
Right.
You know.
But distance-wise, about the same.
Yeah.
It's about the same. Yeah.
No, I think if you live, I mean, I don't really matter. I think if you live in Lakewood, it's a little easier getting to Crocker Park because you just jump on 90 as opposed to driving the streets south, really, from there. But whatever. Listen, and there'll be people who will come up. I mean, are you coming up? I guess you're not coming up from Akron to.
No.
That's too far. But,
No.
anyway, we'll see. But it's a long way before that happens. Listen, the stadium's going to be nice. It's going to be a nicer stadium.
4 more years.
You know.
Is that enough time to build a dome?
Yes.
4 years?
You need 3.
Just
Minnesota, I actually just looked this up this morning. We were talking about this morning. Shovels went in the ground in Minnesota. It was about 3 full years that it took to build. Now, you're not going to have the whole thing done.
No, you're not going to have
But
the
the
store.
stadium,
Yeah, the stadium's the most
3 years.
So
important.
29 is the year they're going to play there for the first time?
Yes.
29. Yeah.
Will they
plenty of
win a
time.
playoff game in downtown?
No.
No.
Will they host the playoff?
Yeah, will
No.
they host the playoff game?
Wait, I didn't even think there's a chance. When was the downtown stadium built?
99.
So 99 through 2028
28
season. There's a chance that an entire stadium could go through its existence
30 years.
Never hosted
without hosting a playoff
Correct.
game.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I mean, I don't want to derail this. I did the show with Ken this morning. It was
Yeah.
Ken and I. We did probably an hour or more on I Said Good Riddance. Like, screw it. That thing's awful. It's a haunted house.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about how
I can't
much.
wait to see you this Sunday in this haunted house.
Well, and Ken was saying like all the memories he's got with his boy and with
Yeah.
his kids, and I'm like, man, screw that. That place
What
is dumb.
memories? They stink.
Like, let's rank your favorite memories. Brandon Whedon getting trapped under the flag, the dog pound banner being put down in the wrong order.
Johnny Manziel's first game.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, what are we really talking about here? That place was a hole.
You mean to tell me you wasn't feeling it that Thursday night game to clinch the playoffs?
After they'd lost 417 games in a row. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the Jets opening the beer cooler.
No, I'm talking about.
And
2
I
years
believe,
ago.
and Mike or maybe Jason or maybe Tyvis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when this stadium closes and you look at all-time wins in this stadium, that Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Flacco, who only played a little bit for the Browns, will be 2 and 3 in most wins in the stadium behind only Baker, I think.
Yeah, that's probably, that's why I said,
I mean,
you know
the insanity of that.
That's why I said this morning, you know who loves that stadium? Ben Roethlisberger loves that stadium. He'll be sad to see it get torn down. Knock it in the water and shove it into Canada
that's it.
and forget about it.
And now the
that
city
thing has been a blight.
And now the city has to take, obviously this is a long-term thing.
Lakefront.
We're talking 10 years from now maybe. You've got to take that, and what the hell do I know? But you would think you got to take all that land and the airport land, and they've got to try to turn that area into like a mini Chicago. That's what
Wait a minute,
I know.
they
That's
take
not.
it in the airport too?
I don't know, but they should.
Jimmy letting them take that airport?
He don't own the airport. Well, at least I don't think he does, right?
He flies there quite
But
often.
he and Dan like to use it.
Screw him. What does he need to use it anymore? He's not in Cleveland.
That's true. Well, you know that, and again, we talked about that this morning.
Yeah.
That one of the things, like the sort of spin-offs of this,
Yeah.
that's super interesting to me. Like, if you're the Browns, how do you approach the city of Cleveland now? You won. Like, this was a shutout. You got everything.
Yeah.
So do you go to them now and still say, hey, we offered to help. We're going to honor that. We're going
They
to.
should.
Or are you going to say, you had your chance.
Yeah.
We're done.
They
Figure
should,
it out on
but
your own.
Whatever.
That'll be interesting to watch how that.
What is the plan for the downtown?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Is it restaurants? Is it
Who
housing?
knows? They had. I saw a rendering about a little beach area, and I don't know.
Edgewater ain't good
They,
enough.
they were trying. The city's proposal was built around the stadium, which was dumb from the start. It needs to get moved off that water spot. It's a dumb spot for location. Like you've got these beautiful, architectural structures of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Science Center.
Yeah.
And then you've got this freaking museum that sits empty.
Yeah.
350 days a year.
Jason, I've
Get it out
never
of
seen
here.
you. I've never seen you this damn.
Jay was suggesting they build a concert venue there.
Like a little amphitheater, like what they already have right across the river.
Well, more like Blossom or something like that. I've never been to Blossom, so I don't know.
You never been to Blossom?
No.
Blossom can hold like 20, 25,000 people. I don't
Yeah.
know if you could fit that many down there.
What do you mean?
They fit 60 on a
They
game.
fit 60 for the football game.
80.
80 for a football game.
I don't know.
All right, yeah, down with Blossom. You right.
I don't know.
Blossom, but
whatever.
I'm just saying.
This is down the line. I mean, 10 years from now, who knows?
They need more companies like Sherwin-Williams
Yeah.
to bring business here. And Cleveland has to do a better job of holding on to its younger demographic. The brain drain is real in Cleveland. People grow up here and they move away.
Well,
and we need to
there's
retain.
reasons for that.
Okay,
that's
that's why
not just because of the city. It's more about the state. But
I disagree with that. I disagree
I
with
just
that.
seen somebody just told me that something about the tax got cut 3.5%. What that's about? You know,
What now?
something about Ohio's tax got cut 3.5%.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know nothing about it.
Anyway,
I just-
let's.
But if you hold on to your younger demographics, you
Yeah.
have downtown housing for them. That's how you help regenerate downtown.
Right.
But when people
There's
grow
gotta
up
be
here,
good jobs,
and they
too.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You need more companies like Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah.
That's why Dan has brought a branch of Quicken or whatever he's calling it these days
Rocket.
to Cleveland.
Rocket or
I asked Jimmy if he would bring Pilot, and then they sold Pilot, and he said no. We're happy with in Tennessee, and then they liquidated or they sold it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but we need
Got
more
away
companies.
with that too. His whole criminal enterprise there. He got away with all of it.
Yeah.
Jason, I got one last question for you, then we can
Yeah.
move on to our next topic. But do you know, yesterday, and correct me if I'm wrong, not only did they rewrite the Modell law, but the state also confirmed that the Browns are going to get $600 million to help fund this project, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Do you know if that is coming from bonds or unclaimed funds?
Both. It's coming from unclaimed funds. And then the Browns will pay it back through tax revenue generated by the new facility.
Yeah, maybe.
So they're on the hook for any shortfalls if the taxes don't add up.
Don't
then
worry.
The Browns are on the hook.
We'll
And
get-
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You should have paid for the whole thing. Short of that, this
Yeah.
is a pretty good deal for the public. It really is.
Well,
it is.
only because we've been conditioned to believe we should pay for
But
it.
no, but
Compared to the other situations, yes.
the money that they're taking from the
Yeah.
state, they're paying back.
Do we know that for sure?
Yes, it's the money generated from the taxes is what's paying for this, and then any shortfalls of that is covered by them. Any overruns, and there are going to be overruns. Construction prices are through the roof. Buffalo's dealing with that now. Buffalo Stadium is way more expensive
when is
than
there
what
supposed to be done?
they're starting to sell season tickets now. I don't
I
remember.
think 28 is when it opens, right?
Will
They're
they
selling season tickets. It's got to be
will
before
they ever
that.
host the Super Bowl?
And I'm sure this new
No.
Brown Stadium will have.
Because it's outdoor.
I'm sure this new Brown Stadium will have plenty of seats for the fans that can't afford
It's going to
much,
be
huh?
it's going to be sticker shock for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully they will retain spots in the upper deck or something for people who can't afford the better seats. We'll see. And then the last thing on this, how pissed are you if you're the Guardians right now? Because you just did your entire renovation. You got very, very little money from the state.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Daryl Ryder made a good point this morning. That came from the general fund. This is not. Their money did come from the general fund from the state. But they just, and the Guardians, what they envisioned for their overhaul or whatever, the final product was nothing like what their original intentions were. But because of construction prices being so astronomically high, this is what they settled on, and they did a great job. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
But it's not anywhere near what they had initially
What did they want?
envisioned.
What's the big deal they wanted to do that didn't get
Well,
done?
a lot. They were going to flip first and third base. The Guardians were going to move to the first base side because there's more room back there for some of the training things and
Right.
the underground thing was going to be totally different. Left field, they had totally different plans for the restaurant that they took out. And
Yeah.
But they did a great job. Like, I'm not knocking
it's a
what they
great
did.
ballpark.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They did a great job. They worked within the means of what they had.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, had this been available to them, because now the Bengals have now.
Oh yeah, Mike
access
Brown's
to this
coming
money.
with his hand out, no doubt.
So, but another thing that worth touching on, the way that they rewrote the Modell law, Columbus is a viable threat now to take a team. It is. Mike Brown can use Columbus's leverage against the city of Cincinnati if he doesn't get what he wants. So
You're looking at me like I care. What do I care?
I'll just move to Columbus.
Columbus.
Oh, you care a lot.
Why would I care if they play in
you
Columbus and Cincinnati? It doesn't
I
matter
see
to
you
me. I don't
shaking
live
in your
there.
boots over there, Bull.
What's that?
Big
That'd be
bad
closer
Bull,
for him to
all
go to the
intimidated
games.
by
Yeah, I'd
Columbus
rather
now.
be in Columbus. Let's move them to Columbus. I don't care.
Big
Move
bad
them here.
Bull.
Just ride with me. I have you
Shaking in
down
his
and
Let
back.
the Bengals play in the stadium downtown.
The new Bills Stadium opens in 26, not 28. I
All
apologize.
right. Yeah, you should apologize, Mike.
The Bills
Big bad
is in 20.
Bull,
You
all
said the
up in his
Bills is
britches.
26?
26, yeah.
So next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the last season.
So this is the
they're gonna
last
play in
season.
their current-
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's move on. Before we do that, Big Bad Bull is going to tell us about good old Menu RX.
At Menu RX,
Sorry, Bull.
let me tell you something. Dr. Jake May and his team at Menu RX, they are there for you. One-on-one counseling. You know, a lot of times, I used to belong to a chain weight loss company, right? And I'd go to a meeting, and there'd be 40 senior citizen women, 10 young women, and then me and one other fat guy. And I didn't feel like I was getting the attention I needed because the program was designed for one fits all. But what a woman has to go through to get in better shape is not going to be the same as me. And even within different men respond differently to different foods. So whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you try to just get in better shape or find out what kind of food fuels your body best, check out Menu RX. They'll do metabolic testing, and you'll actually have scientists and doctors, how about that, not some nutball on the internet, helping you figure out what foods are best for you. And if you sign up for any plan with Menu RX today, you'll get a 1-year membership to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show absolutely free. That's a $60 value for $0. So go to menu-rx.com today. That's menu-rx.com.
Thanks for that, Bull. Let's talk a little NFL coaches right now, guys. PFF put out its rankings of the top 10 returning head coaches
This is so stupid.
entering
I know.
2025.
This is so stupid.
And how many are there, by the way? 24?
Returning,
Yeah.
there's 7 new coaches, so that would
So
mean
25.
25, yes.
It's just, I just, like, how desperate are you for a ranking that this is dumb. It's a dumb ranking.
Of course it's dumb.
It's fine to
All
talk
these
about.
rankings are dumb.
It's fine to talk about, like, whatever.
And ranking coaches there's nothing really to back it up.
The most subjective.
Yeah.
So you can't put Mike Vrabel on this list because he's not a return. Like,
Which is
what
dumb
are we
because he's
doing?
coached before.
What are we
Yes.
doing?
So
We're making lists and talking about it. That's what we're doing.
It's
Go ahead.
June.
PFF puts out a list every day. So I would assume that they're going to have some other ridiculous lists over the next couple
What's
of
today?
days.
Best assistant coaches?
No,
Top
that are
10
returning?
defensive lines in
Today's
football.
list is the best list, the ranking of the best list that
best-
PFF has put out.
Well, regardless of
Yes.
the list, I did have a question I wanted to ask off this list, but I'll show you the top 10 real quick, then I'll
Yeah.
show you what they said about the Browns coach, Kevin Stefanski. The top 10 returning head coaches, according to PFF, number 1 was Andy Reid, Sean Payton 2, Sean McVay 3, John Harbaugh 4, Mike Tomlin 5. We could argue the order in a sec, but let's see 6 through 10. Jim Harbaugh 6, Kyle Shanahan 7, Nick Sirianni 8, Dan Campbell 9, and Kevin Stefanski at number 10.
Go ahead.
Let me just tell you what they said about Stefanski,
Okay.
and then you could see if
Well, before you
agree
say
or disagree.
Stefanski, what's so funny is that the year before Sirianni would have been like 20th. Everybody was done with him.
He just won the Super Bowl, too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But the year before, they had fallen apart. Remember, they fell apart at the end of the season.
Collapsed,
lost to Baker in the playoffs, and people wanted him fired. And now he's the number 9 coach returning.
Number 8. Please respect the list.
Could
but
be
this
higher.
is this is what PFF said about Kevin Stefanski, why they ranked him.
I bet you it says
10th
2-time
overall.
coach of the year.
You will be right.
Oh, big
This is
shocker.
what PFF said. There's 2 of these, Steve. The first one, Stefanski has dealt with a cascade of issues in Cleveland, particularly surrounding Deshaun Watson trade and the subsequent contract extension. However, the 2-time NFL Coach of the Year deserves respect as someone who gets his team to compete regardless of the circumstances. Stefanski broke the Browns' long playoff drought in 2020 and picked up the franchise's first playoff win since re-entering the league in 1999. He also led a surge to the postseason in 2023 with Joe Flacco as his quarterback from Week 14 onward. Stefanski has proven he can succeed if given adequate offensive tools. The team just needs to provide him with that to complement its excellent defense. Bull, I see you
I don't agree
jumping
with a lot
at the
of what
bit.
was said there. Well, I think what people have done with Kevin Stefanski is what Browns fans have been doing with quarterbacks for years. So when Baker was above average here, and that's what he was here at best, he's been obviously better than that in Tampa. But when Baker was above average here, everybody here was like, he's great. Because look what you're comparing it to for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I think, to me, it's the same with Kevin Stefanski. And I don't even have a problem with Kevin Stefanski coming back for one more year. But I don't buy that he's some guru or some great coach. I don't think there's that many great coaches. I think there's, every year, I say this all the time, I think there's 3 or 4 great coaches. I think there's 3 or 4 really horrible coaches. And then everybody else is somewhere in the middle. And if you give them enough time, maybe they're going to do well. You give them the right circumstances, they're going to do well. And the wrong circumstances, they're not. Kevin Stefanski is one of the mid-pack 25 guys, 24 guys, whatever it is. He's okay, but he's no genius. Compared to the other coaches they've had, he looks like a genius because they've hired one nitwit after the next here. But I mean, that's all anybody uses. He's proven he can get this. What has he proven? He's proven nothing. He's won 1 playoff game in 5 years. Just because it was worse before then doesn't mean that's good.
Would you say his first year with Odell, 2020?
First year was 2020.
Yeah.
When they had Odell because
Odell had been here 1 year, yeah.
Okay. Would you say that 2020 team was his best offensive weapons?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
And what did he rank?
They were 12th, I think, in offense.
I think it was 13th.
12th or 13th.
Scoring, yeah.
And ever since then, he has not had quite that talent, right?
I think that's fair. I mean, he had Nick Chubb his first 3 years.
I can see why they say he's been good, even though he doesn't have the offensive tools. I can see where they coming from in that standpoint. My thing with him has always been about the fact that he was the quarterback guru. And don't get me wrong. Yes, Jacoby Brissett played good ball. Baker played good ball. PJ Walker.
Don't start with PJ Walker, please.
He won games, boy.
He sucks.
He won games. And it's because, that's what gives him more credibility.
No.
Is that you would sit there and say, PJ Walker sucks, but yet they still won games.
How many games did they win with PJ Walker?
They beat the Niners.
They did beat the Niners.
Yeah, look at the Niners. They've fallen off ever since.
So it's like I say, when I look at Kevin, I say he does a great job of he manages chaos. Like when you think something bad is going on in the organization or something crazy has happened, he does a great job of getting everybody to lock in, focus, and still perform well on Sundays. Now, there's a lot of things he needs to correct, and somebody brought up the point when we were talking about on Tuesday about, DTR is a 5th-round quarterback. What did you expect out of this 5th-round quarterback? Like, of course he wasn't going to look good. It's not the fact that DTR was a 5th-round pick. It was the preparation to getting that 5th-round pick to play. And the reason why I can speak on this is because I play with CJ Beathard. I play with Nick Mullins. And we sat there. These are guys that weren't drafted as high. Jimmy Garoppolo was the starting quarterback. Jimmy goes down. CJ goes in. They still are able to win games. Nick Mullins go in. Kyle's still able to win games. And it's crazy to me that y'all sit there and say because the guy was drafted in the 5th round, like, that's an excuse. That's a legitimate excuse to why that offense just looked terrible.
Especially when the Browns have been hyping him up for 2
Exactly.
years.
Like, you literally traded away guys to say that this guy was going to be the guy.
Right.
So that's why I don't look at that like that's just because he went 5th round. Like, that is not an excuse for him not to look the way he looked when he had his chance to play. And like I said, the way that you prepared him to play was by not telling him he's playing. Like, that's terrible coaching to me. So that's my only knock on Kevin. Outside of everything else, I don't have an issue with the play calling. I think he does a good job play calling. I think he does a great job of managing chaos. And I think he has a great relationship with a lot of his players. I think they respect him and they don't try to overdo certain things. I think he got a great handle on that. Outside of that, I don't have an issue with him. He's fine. That's why I think he's a good coach, because of those 3 things.
This team thrives in chaos, or thrives on creating chaos. They major in chaos. So it's kind of an important job description of the Browns head coach, is to be a lion tamer and to keep order at some of these places. I've been a Kevin defender. I totally agree, by the way, on what you said about how they handled Dorian in terms of getting him ready to play and not really telling him. The game against Baltimore, I think that part was out of their control. They thought Deshaun was going to play, and then Deshaun rolled in Sunday morning and said, nope, not going. So that you can't really hold against them. The way they handled him last year, yes, I do put that on the coaching staff, the fact that they didn't even tell him he was going to be the backup, and then he gets hurt, and then Deshaun goes down with the Achilles, and now Dorian's thrust in there. I didn't love the way that they handled that. Overall, I think he has had success when he was given the right talent to work with. And the Deshaun thing was an absolute disaster. It has cratered the organization, and it sort of stains everything else. It touches every part of the organization. And it's real, like right now they're trying to lift this thing from the debris of the Deshaun. Like the Deshaun thing crashed, and now they got to sweep up the mess. I said before, if you were going to fire him, you should have fired him last year. Now, I don't see why you would fire him now. Why would you fire him now? If they win 4 games this year, 5, what'd you expect? This is a bad team. Everyone's going to tell you it's going to be a bad team. If you want to get rid of these guys, you should have done it after last season. If you believe somebody's got to pay the price for Deshaun, no.
Okay.
No.
Do you have faith that they're going to get it right at quarterback? Do you have a faith? Let's say they do draft a quarterback top. Do you think they're going to get the right guy? Because I don't have a lot of faith in it.
I don't have a lot of faith necessarily right now, no. But let's wait and see how this season plays out. Let's see what these quarterbacks look like.
You're right. The way this thing's set up, it would seem silly to fire Kevin Stefanski. On the other hand, if they do go 3-14 again,
there's going to be a lot of people screaming,
yeah,
this guy's terrible.
And you can understand.
But going into this, everybody outside of me, of course, has them winning.
You got them going to the Super Bowl?
No. I ain't got them going to the Super Bowl.
Their over/under is 5.5.
I thought it was 4.5.
No, it's 5.5. But it's like minus 150 to bet the under. So that means the under is favored.
So if they win 5 games next year, I don't understand how people can sit there and scream fire him. Like, going into the season, we knew this what it was. Now, I can say fire him because I'm expecting an 8-9 season.
Well, can't we argue that if he's a good coach, you should get more out of it, right?
Mike Tomlin with equally as, maybe not equally, but they had Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph. They've had their
they win 8-9 games.
Quarterback
they win
wins
9
8-9
games every year.
And we keep saying they'll never be in a position.
You should have fired him last year.
Right. That's what
I'm just saying.
said.
If that's the case.
If you were going to fire him, fire him.
But I'm saying, I don't see why people would stand out there with picket signs after this season saying fire him when going into this season, we know that they're not going to be good. Except for me saying 8-9 because they're going to go 8-9.
People want to be surprised, right? They've been surprised. They were surprised 2 years ago with Flacco and a combination of misfit toys playing quarterback.
Well, Kenny Pickett starting. Word to Jason.
Kenny Pickett.
Listen, he could. If Joe outplays him in training camp and Kenny looks atrocious,
they could care less.
Joe can still win the job, but if You're gonna get me sidetracked on this whole thing.
Do it. Get him sidetracked.
All right, this is the only thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Is I don't think I've said this yet on the show. I said this morning. If Joe Flacco is the clear starter for this team, if that's who they wanted to start, why didn't they sign him when free agency opened? Why did they wait a month into free agency and trade for another quarterback first before signing?
Idea. I don't have a great answer to that, Jason. On the other hand, they only traded a 5th-round pick. It's not like they gave up a lot to get him.
But it was the priority. They made Kenny Pickett the priority. Joe Flacco is a free agent for a month. And they did
It's
nothing.
because they understand that Joe is going to go off a cliff at some point. With Kenny Pickett, there is the unknown that maybe if I talk to this guy and clear the game up a little bit more, like maybe there's something there. Like maybe he's a first-round talent. Maybe they just wasn't.
He's not.
Maybe
They
in
just
Pittsburgh,
made a bad draft pick.
maybe in Pittsburgh they just didn't explain the offense to him clear enough to where he got a good grasp on it. Maybe that's
You
that.
really think he's a first-round talent?
He went in the first round.
So then is Shedeur Sanders a 5th-round talent?
He went in the 5th round.
Okay. That's you said it. Don't blame me.
He went in the 5th round.
You're saying he's a 5th-round talent. Go
I
ahead.
mean,
It's
think
gonna come back to
about
people.
this.
So that means Tom Brady's a 6th-round talent.
Yeah, so think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this. If Shedeur,
Yeah.
and this is going, I mean, no disrespect to all you Shedeur lovers.
Oh, boy. Here it comes.
But if Shedeur,
I'm gonna move over here.
if
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders was a bona fide first-round pick,
Yes.
there would be nothing that would stop an
That is
organization
correct.
You are
from taking that guy.
1,000%
You are correct.
Because I just watched, what's the kid from Marshall?
But there won't be
like
people, there'll be
dumb-
people that won't believe you, but you're right. Now, that being said, not that we want to go down this whole road, I don't think he dropped to the 5th round.
I
because of
agree.
talent.
No, I agree with you.
He didn't. He didn't get taken.
I agree.
Not getting taken in the first round. That was
Clearly,
talent.
watching him in practice right now tells you that
He
he's
should have
better
been
than
drafted
the
before the 5th
pick.
round.
Yes,
obviously,
clearly.
But if somebody thought he was worth a 1st-round pick, he would have. And maybe there were teams that thought he was worth a 1st-round pick, but they didn't need a quarterback, so they didn't draft him. You can't say 30. I mean, you can say 32 teams passed on him. That is factually correct. But a lot of those teams, what if maybe the Bengals and the Broncos thought he was a 1st-round talent? But
doesn't it come to a point where, I mean, you're only one injury away from that franchise quarterback. If you like him that much, why not burn a 3rd or 4th-round pick on him?
if you're a team like the Bengals, you can't
If you're
do that.
why?
Why can't you? Why? Because of who he is?
If you're the Chiefs or the Bills or the Bengals, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head who the backup quarterbacks are there.
The Chiefs, well, the Bengals got a good backup, whose name is now escaping me.
Jake
right now.
Browning.
He's so
Oh,
good
Jake
you
Browning.
can't think of his name.
No, but he played great when they put him in 2 years ago.
And Chad Henne was the longtime backup for the Chiefs. I don't think he's still there.
No,
He
he's
was
not.
there a couple of years.
Yeah, and I get the argument that when you're a backup, you blend into the curtains, like you don't want anyone
Yeah.
drawing. I get that part, but I'm just saying, you're one injury away.
Yeah, but if you're
from,
if you're a team like the Bengals,
The Chiefs signed Gardner Minshew.
yeah, if you're the
That's pretty
Bengals,
good.
if
That's
you're
pretty good
the
backup.
if you're the
That is a good
Bengals and the
backup.
Chiefs, you need to draft and the Bengals especially because their
backup,
defense was so
actually.
bad last year. They needed to draft players to help the roster because they want to win a Super Bowl.
I hear
know?
you. I get it. I don't know. If we're talking about the most important position, and you really think he's a first-round talent, and you have a
No.
franchise quarterback, and he's
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
there in the 3rd round and the 4th round,
I
I'm
would've-
just surprised you
yeah.
keep passing on him.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, let's move on to our next topic, guys. Our next topic is brought to us by FanDuel. If you're ever looking to get in on the action, FanDuel has bets for all sports at all times of the day. You name it, you can find it on FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, whether you're all about baseball, under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer. FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. We know you're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get it on the game while your friends are out getting sunburnt at the beach. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. I don't know if anyone's going to have the right answer to this next question, but I'm curious if any of you have any insight. Tyvis, you've dealt with rookie contracts before, and Quinshon Judkins remains unsigned for the Cleveland Browns. He is the only 2025 draft pick that has yet to sign his rookie contract. We are now past OTAs. We know the situation that's going on in Cincinnati with Shamar Stewart. So, Tyvis, any idea, any reason you could think of as to why Quinshon Judkins would not have signed his rookie contract yet?
Must be some language in there that he won't clear it up. That's the only thing I could think of. Because it ain't negotiate money, because that's slotted. You can't negotiate that. I know with the Cincinnati situation, it's something about like injury or something like that.
I have no idea.
So it's some language in there that him and his agent is trying to get cleared up, and they both seem to be fighting it. The difference is, obviously, Quinshon's ready to play. I mean, he's out there every day practicing and doing everything he's supposed to do, even without a contract. So at the end of the day, it's going to get done. I'm not worried about it. Like the Shamar Stewart thing is more significant because he actually not practicing, which is crazy to me that he's not practicing and think he's just going to be ready week 1.
By the way, there's a lot of players that are unsigned right now.
Yeah, he's just the only only Browns that is yet
There
to
are
sign.
40 unsigned rookies as of today, including 30 of the 32 players in the second round. So there's got to be something going on in the second round.
I don't know. That's why I asked the question. I genuinely don't have.
It's some language in there for sure.
The main this article from NBC Sports says the main reason for the holdup in signing these players is the negotiation of guaranteed contract terms, particularly that percentage of the contract that is fully guaranteed. NBC Sports reports that agents for second-round picks are pushing for fully guaranteed contracts, following the example of the first 2 second-round picks who secured such deals.
Oh, well, there it is.
So guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Who was do it say the 2 teams that signed?
Well, that would be Schlesinger.
Well, Schlesinger was the.
So he must have gotten his contract. So again, the Browns pissed off the whole rest of the NFL.
They're pretty good at that.
Which we will get to a little bit later in the show.
What's that?
I said we'll get to that a little bit later in the show.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the Browns.
But
well, if they fully guaranteed Schlesinger's contract, then there should be no reason why they wouldn't fully guarantee Judkins' contract.
I mean, these things are really stupid. This is why it drives me crazy when we give handouts to owners. They're nickel and diming players here. They're all billionaires. They're nickel and diming players here over nonsense, and then our state government hands them money. Unbelievable. We got to cut Medicare and SNAP so people can starve to death on the street.
They say you don't stay rich by spending it. So
spend other people's money.
Good for them.
Should anyone be worried about this situation?
No.
Whether it's Judkins or I guess one of the other 29 second-round picks.
No.
It's nothing. They'll all be
because at the end of the day, they're not going to miss games, and the organization needs them to play. So they're going to come to a deal this Shamar Stewart. I just don't is he really not going to just play?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
It's not going to happen. And then if they don't sign Trey Hendrickson and he sits out, you ain't got no choice but to sign.
Trey Hendrickson's the only one that matters.
It's all about who's going to blink first.
Shamar Stewart should shut the hell up. The Bengals should sign him.
No, he ain't wrong because
they
trying to change the contract.
The Bengals are 100% wrong.
Yeah.
He's just said some stupid stuff like.
What did he say?
I don't want to. He's just you're a rookie. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let's go.
I mean, what he's fighting for, I 100% agree.
I agree. The Bengals are wrong in the situation, but he should just not talk about it. He's not benefiting himself by yapping about it, I think.
He's answering the question that people want to know.
And he's probably going to be a bust anyway because every Bengals defensive draft pick's a bust pretty much.
Maybe he's trying to get traded out of Cincinnati before he has to sign the deal.
Good riddance.
Good riddance.
I don't need any defense. Let's just keep going.
Earl, we'll move on in a sec. Earl just texted me and mentioned that Higgins, the second pick in the second round, pick after Schlesinger, was the first second-round pick to get his contract fully guaranteed.
Oh, so they're the team that.
And then Schlesinger got it. So now.
Who's that team? Who was the
Texans?
Texans.
The Texans pissed everybody off.
Earl is expecting Judkins to sign after Nick Emanwari, who was the third pick in the second round, one before Judkins. So ABC's how much money he gets.
So Earl is reporting this?
No, Earl's just speculating.
Oh.
Earl's just speculating, not reporting, just speculating.
Earl is a media guy now?
Earl is an insider.
You think they would give
We
Judkins
should just
more?
make Earl our Browns insider. Just start calling him Browns insider Earl.
Could they give Judkins more guaranteed money than Schlesinger?
No.
Is that possible?
No.
Why would they do that?
I asked a question.
Don't ask those silly questions.
Well, Earl asked me, so I was asking you guys.
They're not going to give a guy who got drafted later more guaranteed money. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you only got drafted 2 picks later. It'd probably be around the same, I would think.
Yeah, it'll be very close.
Yeah, I got to imagine the 33rd and the 36 make about the same.
Yeah.
Because it's rookie scale to an extent, right?
It is. All right. I think we've beat this topic to death.
All
What
right.
do we got?
Let's move on. Let's talk Monarch Money. Then I had a fun little exercise yesterday that
All
I'm
right.
curious to see if you guys enjoy as much as I did. But we'll get to that after. A quick reminder that Monarch Money is the new thing you need on your phone. If you ever checked your bank account and wondered, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and spendings in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. So, guys, my dad and brother have been, begging's not the right word, but they have been encouraging me to start using ChatGPT for some other non-work stuff. And then I was like, ChatGPT is kind of funny. You could ask it anything, it'll give you an answer. So I asked ChatGPT to predict the Cavs offseason. And I'm going to show you the 5-step ChatGPT offseason plan. And you guys have to tell me if you like what ChatGPT cooked up. Is it better than something Koby Altman could do? And what you think about AI's version of the best outcome for the Cavs this offseason.
Is what they came up with feasible?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Is AI really going to take over the world?
We're going to find out.
Of course it is, because billionaires get to save more money and regular people get screwed.
But this is a feasible plan.
Yeah.
We'll see if you like it. It's a 5-step plan.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I'll go over the 5 steps.
Is it 5 steps?
5-step offseason plan. And then we can go back and discuss them. But this is the 5-step offseason plan for the Cleveland Cavaliers, according to ChatGPT.
All right,
The
let's go.
first move is trading Darius Garland to the San Antonio Spurs for Keldon Johnson and 2 future first-round picks.
I don't know enough about him, so you guys tell me. What do you got? What do you think of this?
We'll go step by step after. I want to give you the full
okay.
plan so you
All right,
understand
fine.
everything
Sorry.
that
Go
ChatGPT is
ahead.
cooking. But the first thing would be trading Darius Garland to the Spurs for Keldon Johnson and 2 future first-round picks. The next step would be to extend Donovan Mitchell. 4-year extension, $208 million with an average annual value of $52 million per year.
Okay.
So trade Darius.
What's he making per year right now?
He's extension eligible after, was it Jason, next season?
He's got 2 years left on his deal, and then he can. Then he's
So
got
why?
player
So
option.
you can't do this then?
You could extend him. You can
You
extend
just
any
said
player.
he's not extension eligible.
No, he is extension eligible.
Okay.
You can extend guys whenever
Sorry,
you want.
I misunderstood you. Go ahead.
He's making this year 46,
Okay.
next year 50, then a $54 million player option.
Okay.
So it'd be locking him in at basically his current rate. Not sure he would take that,
Yeah, I don't know that
he will
would.
not take that.
but you could, in theory, make that extension.
right.
The third step, re-sign Ty Jerome, let Sam Merrill walk in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So trade Darius, extend Donovan, re-sign Ty, and let Sam Merrill walk. The fourth step in this ChatGPT plan is trade up in the second round. Use their 2 second-round picks, 49 and 58, to get up in the draft to select Janai Broom, who finished second.
Janai.
No, it's Johnny Broom.
It's not Johnny.
It's not Johnny. It's Janai Broom.
He knows these random basketball. I'm
He
gonna get,
finished
Mike's
second.
bad with
you
names.
talking about the center from
Auburn.
Auburn,
It's
the one
Janai
that
Broom.
whose vertical is like 1 foot.
Yes, his name's
stiff?
Janai Broom. He finished second in the Player of the Year voting behind Cooper Flagg this year. Was an All-American, first-team All-American. Bit of an undersized, non-athletic center, but the ChatGPT Cavs offseason plan says trade up. They didn't say what pick they would trade up to in the second round, but trade the 49th
Where's
and
he
the 50th
projected
pick
to go?
somewhere in the second round. So
Well, there's only one more round, Mike. So obviously,
yeah, he's.
I didn't
before-
know if you meant like is he supposed to be a top pick in the second round?
No. Honestly, he might be there at 49 anyway.
Okay,
So,
all right.
And then the last part of the ChatGPT plan, sign Gary Harris in free agency. So
All
the
right.
5-part ChatGPT plan
All right.
Trade Donovan for Keldon, extend Donovan, re-sign Ty, let Merrill walk, trade up for Janai Broome, and sign Gary
All right, so let's ignore the middle three. They're irrelevant to our conversation, really. Let's just look at the 1 and 5. I mean, well, I guess the Ty Jerome thing, too. Forget the Donovan Mitchell and the rookie stuff.
Donovan
Jason,
won't. There's no
forget that
incentive
part.
for
Let's
Donovan
just look
to
at
sign.
1, 3, and 5 combined. Trading Garland for Johnson and 2 future picks, re-signing Ty, letting Merrill walk, and signing Gary Harris. Are the Cavs better in that situation? No trade of Jared Allen, which I don't like. But what do we think of that trade? That big trade with Darius Garland. I don't know anything about.
I don't love it.
I don't like it either.
I'm curious.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, I don't. I was trying to find out how tall Johnson is, how big he is.
6'5".
He's listed at 6'5" and 6'3" on other websites, so I'm going to guess 6'4" is the
Yeah,
actual middle ground.
I don't. I mean, the first round picks are nice, but you're trying to win right now, and you do want to recoup some capital if you can, because of all the trades the first that you've traded away. Those are coming due now, but I would put a pretty high price tag on Darius, and that does not meet it for me.
All right,
I don't
well,
like it.
There you go.
I agree. And if you're getting first from San Antonio, you're going to give Darius on top of Wemby, on top of Dylan Harper, and those are going to be late first round picks. I don't think those are going to give you the requisite guys to make up for
then
it.
this whole ChatGPT is a waste at this point.
Yes.
Is he
It all went out the window.
Is he starting for them?
Last season, Keldon Johnson was in and out of the starting lineup.
Okay, because all right, I need you to put your GM
So
hat on.
ChatGPT sucks. I mean,
ChatGPT would not be a good GM. Was what I found
this
out.
is terrible. You trading for a backup
Now I'm trying to figure this
and
out.
2 late draft picks?
Because the Spurs just drafted the kid from Rutgers, right?
Well, I asked this before the draft last night.
No, that's not why I'm asking. Because I'm asking because they got De'Aaron Fox, the kid they just drafted,
Dylan Harper,
and what's the dude with the dreads that's the beast?
Stephon Castle.
Who's? And then you got
I
him
wouldn't
too.
Would not be shocked if they ended up trading De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
For what? De'Aaron Fox for Darius Garland.
No, they need less guards. They have too many guards right now.
They got, That's what I'm saying. They got
Listen,
4 guards.
if the Spurs knew they were going to get Dylan Harper, I don't think they made the trade for De'Aaron Fox last year.
All right, but I don't care about the Spurs. So this is a bust because we don't want to make that trade, and then the rest is all meaningless.
If Gary Harris is the guy they end up with in free agency, and I understand all the issues, they don't have a ton of money, it's going to be a lot of veteran minimum guys. Gary Harris has been oh, good, we get Gary Harris, and then you get Gary Harris, you're like, oh, shit, we have Gary Harris for 10 years now. He's 30 years old. He played in 48 games for Orlando last year. He averaged 3 points, 1 rebound, and half an assist per game last year. 2 years ago in Orlando, he played 24 minutes,
Mike,
averaged 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist.
I'm going to cut you off, no offense, because nobody gives a rat's ass about Gary
That's what I'm
Harris.
saying. I think ChatGPT did a horrific job.
Yeah. But here's what I do want to ask you.
We get jobs for 1 more year.
Here's what I want to ask you, sir. I was reading this article on CBS about winners and losers of the draft, or maybe just the last week or whatever, and it said that they were talking about Orlando. They were really hyped up on Orlando. Are we going to have to start looking at Orlando as a legitimate contender in the East or no?
Yeah.
Thought that. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I thought that before the Desmond Bain trade, and when they traded for Desmond Bain, I said that absolutely makes sense.
So, and they got who'd they get in the draft? They get somebody good in the draft?
No, they traded their draft picks.
Oh, so what else did they do?
Got Desmond Bain.
Oh, okay.
Cleveland, Orlando, Atlanta,
Knicks.
and the Knicks.
So what's Boston doing? Obviously, they traded Porzingis.
I think
Traded Holiday.
I think they're cutting more.
I think they're still going to do some. Yeah.
Do you think they trading Jaylen Brown?
I think it could happen. Yeah.
If they trade Jaylen Brown, they might be the worst team in the East. They might go from a championship to the number 2 seed to the worst team in the East, or one of them.
That's what happened with the Warriors.
Because Tatum's missing the whole. No, they weren't that bad.
Yes, they were. They had the number 2 pick. They got James Wiseman.
Yeah, they
Forgot
blew the
about
pick.
that. And they blew the pick. That's right.
And they blew the pick and then won the championship 2 years later, which
But-
goes to show.
And does Boston own all of its picks?
I can look that up. Hold on.
If Boston owns all of its picks,
They might.
it may not be bad to bottom out for a year.
Right, because they
Pair someone with JT when he comes back healthy,
Yeah.
and then you start to rebuild it up.
So the thing is, get a team, win the championship, stink for 2 years.
This is what they wanted.
They have their own pick next year, Jason. You are correct.
This is what the NBA. This is what.
Well, if they trade Jaylen Brown, that's what they're doing. Because they've already traded Porzingis. They traded
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. So who else they got left? They
Derek
got
White.
Derek
White.
and Jaylen Brown.
They going to
Derek
trade Derek
White,
White, or are they going to keep him
I
around?
like
I think
Simons
all
off
things are on the
bench
table.
for him.
Also,
They got
love
all
Derek
those like white dudes.
I
The
love
Celtics
Derek
always
White.
have white dudes on the bench.
What's White's contract? I think it's moderately manageable.
It's $20 million. Remember, he makes.
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah,
83rd
yeah,
highest
yeah,
paid
yeah.
player, and Jared Allen's
So
the
the
84th.
Cavs stink. The Pacers are going to be without Halliburton for the whole season. So they'll be. I mean, they're not going to be terrible, but they're not going
East
to
is
be.
wide open. Wide open.
And the
I think
Cavs,
the Cavs have to be so soft.
and the Cavs should still trade one of Jared or
Of course they should.
Jason.
You don't give them away. You don't make a trade for the sake of making a trade.
You got to get tougher, though.
You roll with the core four.
No, Jason, you got to get tougher. You know that.
I've been on the trade Jared
All right, let's
wagon
get it
for
done.
2 years, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
You think it's going to happen?
I tend to think they're going to run it back as is.
I told you. I said that a month
I tend
ago.
to think.
They gonna run it
I
back.
think ultimately, I think they're going to look and shop, but
They tried their one move for Kevin Durant. That's it.
Wow.
it.
Did they? Mike, are you with Jason? You don't think they're going to trade Allen?
I was on the radio with Spencer German last night. I put it at like a 33% chance.
Look at you.
33%.
Mike's allowed to be on the fan. Jason's allowed to be on the fan. Apparently, I'm still banned. I don't know what's happening.
I was on the fan.
You're on the fan. I only helped, pull the station off the ground,
Build it.
build it from scratch. But yeah.
you really want to be back on the fans?
Are you
no,
on?
not as a host. But
Would you say that you're on the Mount Rushmore of 92?
damn right I am.
Who else is on the Mount Rushmore with you?
Well,
You can't say yourself 4 times.
no, me, Ken, Dustin, and
Lima?
gotta think about it for a minute. Because someone insult somebody.
Yeah, you are.
I'll just sit here and drink.
I
my
think
water.
Lima would be the fourth one, yes.
So the 2 main shows
Yeah.
that had led the
Although
station.
Lima wasn't on that show in the beginning. I was trying to think if we had to put one of those guys on.
No.
But
Who did Ken start with before Lima?
Ken did not start in the mornings. When the station first started,
Ken was at night.
when the station first started, Ken was at night. It was Dustin and I in the afternoon, Baskin and Phelps, who are still in the middays, and the morning show was Kylie and Booms, who you don't know either of them, and you don't want to know either of them.
Yep.
When did Peterlin get there?
Peterlin started at the radio station the week the Cavs won the championship.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What a welcome.
And he was our update guy on the. So when the station first started, Lima was the update guy on the show with Dustin and I.
I remember that.
And Jeff, I can't think of Jeff's last name, who does the updates. in the morning.
Thomas.
Jeff
Phelps.
Thomas. He's been doing updates on the morning show since the beginning. And then Lima was doing afternoon updates. And then finally, Chuck Booms got fired, long overdue. And then Ken Carmen took over, and it was Ken and Kylie, which was horrible and awkward for Ken. It was terrible for him. And then soon after they got rid of Kylie, which was a good move. And then Ken was kind of solo for a little while, and then it was him and Lima. The nights went from Ken to Nick Wilson to Chico to Jonathan. I don't know who's doing nights now. Who? To the guy I don't know. I can't.
Jake
Volnek, I think. Is his
Oh,
name.
he did updates for the Browns.
Yeah.
He would be the guy that come
So
in
there
and
you
do
go.
scores.
That's it. That's the rundown.
the
How
history
did we get to
lesson.
that though?
I asked you for
I
the
asked you.
Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to our last topic of the show. Bull first. Menu RX. What's up?
Yeah. Menu RX is great for weight loss. It's great for just getting in better shape, just wanting to feel better. There's a lot of people out there. For me, I'm dealing with weight loss. I actually just talked to Dr. Jake. We're talking next Wednesday. I'm finally trying again to lose weight here, and it's a struggle. But some people who are in way better shape than me, a lot of people in way better shape than me, but may not be in the shape they want to be in. Maybe their muscle tone is not what they want it to be, or maybe they're 55 and they're in good shape, but they have a little bit of a gut and they want to get rid of it and they can't figure out what to eat. Well, one option is to go on the internet and find some random dude who's going to tell you what to eat and you have no idea what his qualifications are. The other idea, and this is the smart one, is to go to menu-rx.com and talk to people who do this for a living, who study this for a living, doctors, nutritionists, scientists, who actually know how to advise people based on the individual and not just one size fits all. So go to menu-rx.com today, see what they can do for you. They work with most healthcare plans, so you might not have to pay a dime out of pocket. HSA and FSA spending ability. So, and if you sign up now, you get a 1-year membership to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show absolutely free. So go to menu-rx.com today. That's menu-rx.com.
Thank you for that, Bull. We're going to end today's show with some news that came out of the NFL earlier this week that, frankly, I missed when it first came out. And bad job
Unlike
out of me.
you, Mike. Unlike you.
I know. I'm usually on top of these things.
Yep.
I missed it. I apologize. But, Steve, you want to take tag board here full. The NFL and the NFLPA managed to conceal a ruling in a collusion case against the NFL for more than 5 months. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk and Pablo Torre eventually got their hands on it. What we learned from this collusion is that basically after the Deshaun Watson 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract with the Browns, the NFL owners got together and colluded to discourage fully guaranteed contracts in the future. Now there's a list of 594 players who, in theory, could sue the NFL in lost guaranteed money. We're not sure exactly what the fallout will be from this, but as Jason...
Why did the players want to keep this quiet? I understand why the owners obviously wanted to keep this quiet.
I don't know.
Jason, why do you think the players want to keep this quiet? Are they getting, like, are the owners doing something on the... it's weird.
Yeah, I don't have a great answer for that. If I was a player association, if they had access to that,
Yeah.
I'd be putting that out.
Right. It's strange to me that this would be on the down low. So there's not been a court case, so it's not proven that the NFL did this.
No, there was a arbitrator. And this was something from the direct report, Steve, if you want to take tag board full here. But this, Chase Daniel put a little quote out from the findings, which is all published on Pablo Torre Finds Out and on Pro Football Talk. But this was from the arbitrator. Quote, "There is little question the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veterans' contracts at the March 2020 annual owners' meetings." End quote.
So I was at those owners' meetings. That was the year that they signed Deshaun. Mm-hmm. And I remember...
The meetings were 5 days after the Deshaun contract happened, by the way. 5 days after.
We sat with Jimmy and D...
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
We probably sat with Jimmy and D for probably well over an hour, probably hour and a half. And one of the things that we asked them on the record was, like, there's a lot of talk that the owners are angry with you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember Jimmy's response was like, oh, nobody said anything to us. Like, we were just in the room with them and nobody said anything to us. But it was, rarely do owners ever talk poorly about each other in the public. And I remember Arthur Blank had pointed comments.
Didn't the Ravens owner say
Biscotti,
something?
Steve Biscotti had remarks about it. And for these guys to kind of go at each other like that it was telling. And you've heard Andrew Berry come out and say that he doesn't believe this was an anomaly and guaranteed contracts would not become standard. Probably, this is part of the reason why, that this was considered an anomaly.
Now, let's face it, most of the quarterbacks, while they're not getting it fully guaranteed, it's like 90%.
This goes well beyond quarterbacks, though. This isn't about quarterbacks. This is about...
No, I understand. But everybody was like, well, there haven't been a lot of fully guaranteed since then.
And I'm just talking in general.
Yeah.
Defensive ends, cornerbacks, safeties, linebackers, offensive linemen, just in general. There have been no guaranteed contracts.
But at least the quarterbacks, most of them have been, like, mostly guaranteed. But not every last time. In the end, if you sign a $250 million fully guaranteed or a $250 million with $220 guaranteed, it really doesn't matter.
Well,
I know the players look at it a certain way, but ultimately, come on.
I think there's more than in quarter. Maybe I'm wrong. You probably pay closer attention to the contracts than I do. I think it's like I mean, Deshaun, how badly would they want a non-fully guaranteed
course.
contract right now?
Yeah.
230 guaranteed or 230 million, 180 guaranteed.
Yeah,
50
right.
million is a pretty significant difference.
I mean, well,
Yeah, for the teams, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, for the player, you know.
it's significant for them too.
it was evident that they colluded over this deal because I think the very next person to sign their contract after Deshaun was Kyler, and he
Wasn't Lamar?
no.
It was Kyler.
Lamar
Is that-
Odell.
Kyler. And Kyler's was significant. It was like 160 of fully guaranteed or something. And then I think after him maybe was Russell or Justin Herbert or something. Joe.
Very good memory, Ty. Kyler Murray got a $230.5 million contract, but only 160 guaranteed.
That's a
And
big
it was-
difference.
Yeah, and it's like, because usually when everybody wait for the quarterback to say,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, when I go negotiate, we starting there.
What's funny is at the time when the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, I would have thought, wow, he's way better than Kyler Murray. Not that I don't think Kyler Murray's that good, and he certainly ain't worth the money either, but he's certainly a lot better than Deshaun Watson.
But it was
I think of Kyler Murray as a middle-of-the-road quarterback.
I don't think nobody had a better fully guaranteed contract until Dak came out and had $1 million more. Every quarterback that signed after Deshaun up until Dak, nobody got to where Deshaun's guarantee was.
Percentage-wise or total number?
The 230.
What?
Well, real quick,
Yeah.
this is from the report that came out, the 61-page document, about the Kyler Murray contract and how Justin Herbert's contract then was negotiated the next year. These are text messages that were turned in as evidence to this arbitrator that then came out in the report from Chargers owner Dean Spanos and Michael's owner Michael Bidwell. I'm going to read these word for word. Spanos said, "Congratulations on signing Murray." Bidwell said, "Thanks, Dino. These quarterback deals are expensive, but we limited the fully guaranteed money and have some pretty good language. Thankfully, we have a quarterback that's worth paying." Spanos said,
Nope.
"Your deal helps us pay for our quarterback next year. Thank you." Bidwell, "I think many teams will be happy with it once they have a chance to review. Cleveland really screwed things up, but I resolved to keep the guaranteed money relatively low." End conversation.
And this is Roger Goodell saying, after Roger Goodell said, listen, we need to stop this fully guaranteed contract thing. So your commissioner is advising everybody not to do this. And then the next deal was that. And it's like, that's crazy to me. Once Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow's deal didn't get to Deshaun's, like that's
Yeah. What was Burrow's deal?
it's absurd.
Mike? Yeah, I think he got more total money than Deshaun.
But he didn't get more guaranteed.
5,270,
Yeah, how much guaranteed?
219,
What was Deshaun's guarantee?
230.
Yeah, but he's going to get all that money. Unless he has a catastrophic
What was
injury.
Lamar's guarantee? 180?
Lamar Jackson, 185 guaranteed, 260 total.
Two-time MVP. Signed after Deshaun.
Yeah.
185.
But again, guys as good as Burrow and Lamar, they're going to get all that money unless they have a catastrophic injury.
Well,
if anything, they'll get more because they'll renegotiate somewhere along the line.
All I'm saying is when you sign that dotted line, the only number that really matters is that fully
That's true.
guaranteed one. So,
So what's the fallout from this, Tyvus? Like, what happens next? Do the Browns, are they punished in any capacity? Does this
You
cha-
punished them. They
Browns aren't.
because I'm
just asking, what's the next
way
steps
that
after
the
this?
way that the owners could come out and say, no, we didn't collude, is Jerry Jones saved today when he said, you know what, Dak, I'm gonna give you 231 fully guaranteed. And I think since then Josh Allen might be 250 fully guaranteed because he redid his deal too. So at this point,
Dak's whole deal is fully guaranteed?
I don't know.
No.
if it's fully guaranteed.
Josh Allen was 330 with 250 guaranteed.
See, it ain't fully guaranteed.
I mean,
but-
he only got 250 guaranteed.
But
How will he survive?
I'm saying it was a huge gap.
And
Yeah,
Dak
between-
got 240, 231 guaranteed.
Which, that's just silly. That's
But it's
silly.
the way of them saying, how did
Yeah.
we collude?
Yeah,
we
right.
just
We
gave these
basically
deals.
gave Dak everything guaranteed,
Yeah, so like
you know.
that's
Dak, you're not getting the last $9 million. You
Jerry
have to survive with that
Jones. Jerry
231.
Jones saved the day for the owners. Is basically what happened, in my personal opinion.
Please refer to him by his proper name, the Crypt Keeper. Go ahead, Mike.
Any other thoughts on this? If not, I got one more thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's do one more thing.
All right, let me, Earl, you can end the clip. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Do us a favor. Also follow us on social media. Cam Jordan, the defensive end from the New Orleans Saints.
Yes, he did.
Oh, so you already saw his types. Okay, perfect.
He
Basically said the
with
NFL needs to bring back taunting.
Yep.
Quote, I get a sack on the quarterback. Give me 5 seconds. Put the spotlight on me. Let me celebrate. It's okay to taunt. Bring back taunting. Let me talk my expletive.
Yep.
Tyvus.
Go ahead, Tyvus. You're the only one.
I'm a huge trash talker, so I'm always in favor of taunting and all of those things. Didn't somebody just do something like 2 years ago and got a big time penalty in the middle of a game? He like handed them the ball or something. Listen, I ain't got no problem with it. To me,
no limits.
What do you mean? What's
like you could rub your crotch in somebody's face.
Well, they used to call it. They used to say he teabagged.
Yeah, you can teabag somebody. You're okay with that?
Well, it's funny is
where's the line?
They used to do that, but it was so smooth that you never knew. Like somebody just look.
That's leading to a fight. You teabag someone, that's leading to a fight there, Tyvus.
you know what I mean. Like as far as celebration goes.
But it's a serious question though. I don't have a problem.
Don't touch me.
Yes.
Don't touch
that's
me.
it.
You
Don't
can
Can I
whatever you
get
want
in your
to.
face, just not touch
What
you?
if you stand over them?
No.
Okay.
Because they're gonna get
Okay,
back.
so there's
Away
got to be
from-
some limits.
away
You do whatever you want to do away from me.
I agree with you.
But if you
Okay, but
stand
can't you
over
do
me
that
or you get in
anyway?
my face, like that's gonna lead to fights.
Can't you do that anyway, as long as it's not in the person's face?
No, you can't even wipe your nose no more.
I hate that.
Now, I'm going to be a hypocrite because I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said. Like, have your moment. Yet, at the same time, watching the Browns defensive players dance last year drove me insane.
Embarrassing. So embarrassing.
You're down 3 touchdowns, and you're doing that. Come on.
I loved it.
You know what? I think it's embarrassing. You think it's embarrassing. There shouldn't be penalties. In this case, there's no penalty.
That's fair.
But we want stupid behavior like celebrations, trash talking should not cause penalties. I agree with him. Ultimately, we may not like it. I think the nose wipe drives me crazy. I want to punch everybody.
Well, you can't do it no more.
I want to punch people for that. I want to
gang related. Slimed out.
Another one, the feed me one. I hate that. I want to punch. That's selfish. It's selfish.
2 spoons.
It's all about me. And the defensive player celebrations are embarrassing, but I don't think there should be penalties for any of those things.
Such a hater.
Do you get mad at your Little League kids if they celebrate a good play?
No, because they don't do anything crazy, and I don't let kids. I'm not going to get into it, but there was. I'll yell if I see kids. Like sometimes there'll be kids that show up at Little League field, and if they're obnoxious, I scream at them and tell them to get the hell out. I don't care if it's not my kid. I'll scream at them. If the kids, you can't be doing that for kids. But
I'm just tripping on the fact that people are allowed to celebrate like college and high school. Like, since when are they allowed to celebrate? When I was back in high school, if you did anything, flag. And now all of a sudden they give them like leeway to do it.
Yeah.
I remember.
I don't know.
I will never forget.
I see these highlights from AAU basketball games, and every highlight is just about a kid trying to humiliate the other kid. What are we teaching with that?
When I was in high school, I went to this we had this 7-on-7 camp at Bedford. I think it might have been the Chris Chambers camp. And I don't know what we did to this other school that we was playing.
Yeah.
But every time that somebody would score, their entire team would run on the field and like celebrate. And it was I'm sitting there looking like, wait a minute, you can do that? So of course, me being who I am, I have to score now. And when I score, I hit him with the Dion. I did the Dion celebration.
What's the Dion? I forgot.
He had a bunch of them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hit him with that, and then flipped him.
Now everybody does the gritty.
Nah, they don't do the gritty no more.
That's getting tired.
Well, that's Jay Jetta stuff.
Wasn't there a clip of Urban? I think it
feeling
was
up
Urban.
a woman. Yes.
No. Stop it. God, you're
Feeling up a
ridiculous.
co-ed.
Can't take you anywhere.
No, you can't.
No, Urban was saying he told his guys like, if you something about if you want to celebrate, you better really do it up.
Because that's the last time
Because
you
it's
ever
the
going to do
last
it.
time it will be your last touchdown
ahead,
for
do
quite a
it.
while. So
Yeah.
if you're going to do it, you better really go all out.
So you
and
know
get
what
it
my
all
key?
out.
Well, you know what my thought process was? If I ever got a pick six, I would definitely take the penalty. I was definitely gonna get penalized for it.
I'm stunned by you. Right
You know
now.
why?
Yeah.
Because he would say, "You act like you've been there." I ain't never been there, so therefore I gotta go ahead and do it up. What, he gonna bench me on defense? Okay.
Oh shoot, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. There shouldn't be penalties for it, but on the other hand, don't we want to set a good example for kids that are watching? Or do we not care about that?
I think what y'all miss out of the whole thing is that you as fans, we only see Sunday. We don't pay attention to the fact that it is a grind to get to Sunday. It's a lot of stuff that go into it.
Right.
So when you make that play, it's because I done studied, I done took care of my body, I done did all these things. I am going to rejoice in that moment.
But there's a difference.
I've earned that moment. You know how hard it is. You know how hard it is to make a play.
But I'm saying when I'm talking about, like, do you want to do that in front of kids? It's not the celebrating. It's to try to humiliate your opponent.
That's why I said. That's why I said to some of the ones you talking about standing over guys. Getting face. No, I ain't talking about that. Like, no. But like, if you got a funny dance or something like that, or the latest dance move, you want to do that? Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I used to hate when the wide receivers would get up and drop through. I hated it.
It's obnoxious.
Or they get up and they hit Jarvis Landry. He was on
Spin
punt.
the ball.
We was on punt. This is my rookie year. We tackled him on punt. And he got up and he spent the ball. And I get that stuff out of here. Like I used to hate that stuff, but it was fun part. It wasn't like it made me really like upset. It was the fact that like, just chill out, go on with that. Like it was fun.
It did make you upset.
It was just fun. Like I used to kick his. Get that out of here. What you spinning the ball on me for?
All right, Mike. Any super chats today?
We only have one right now. And it comes from our guy Evan419 who says, "Bull.
Yes.
Nobody rational has called Kevin a genius. You and G have this odd belief that you must call him trash, and if you don't, you're saying he's a genius."
All right, maybe that's fair.
You and G.
I don't call him trash. When have I called Kevin Stefanski trash? Maybe I have. I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe you haven't necessarily said trash.
I thought when Kevin Stefanski first got here, I thought he was a very good coach, and I thought he had a chance to be a great coach. And now I just think he's a run-of-the-mill coach, just like most of the coaches out there.
I think he still has potential to be a very good coach. I think he's been poisoned by the building he's in.
I think
Maybe so.
I think he got so tired of everybody trying to tell him what to do that last year was his year of saying, "I'm gonna show you what happens if I let it go. If I do everything everybody want me to do, I'm gonna show you what it really looked like." And we seeing how disastrous it is, and now it's like, all right, let me take it back and y'all can shut up.
And it's what you guys are saying is fair, but it's also fair to say, and you brought this up earlier in one example, that he's made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
he has.
You know,
both for him and AB.
He has to wear the Deshaun thing too. He's part of it.
Absolutely. You know, the whole last season of Baker, he's got to get some blame on that. That was not handled well. Now you want to blame Baker for it? I'm here for that, but Kevin can't get a free pass for that. The way that was handled.
You get the final say. No, you're not. If you're hurting us and we can't do it, if I can't call what I want to call, why should you be playing? Like that should have been the conversation.
I could definitely I feel like they're kind of hand in hand, but I definitely can make a better case for Kevin keeping his job than Andrew Berry.
I agree with that, and I also think AB has also been poisoned a little bit by the building he's in.
Right.
I think it applies to both of them.
Do you think AB was good as a GM in 2020 and 2021, his first 2 years on the job?
I mean, I have to think about that.
So tomorrow, on that very point, we are going to do a topic where we go back and looked at all of Andrew Berry's free agent signings from 2020 through last season. This year is too early to judge on how those guys will perform. And we're going to look at how many of the guys they signed in free agency have lived up to the contract, come close to living up to the contract, were complete swing and misses, and see if there's a trend we can find in terms of Andrew Berry as the general manager.
In fairness to Andrew Berry,
I don't even know who his best free agent signing is.
It's Jack Conklin.
Is that
he wasn't a free agent?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah.
First year.
I already did all the research. It's not a great list.
In fairness to him, I would bet a high percentage of free agents aren't worth the contracts they sign. Because it's not like baseball or basketball where you talk like the best players don't usually get the free agency.
Free agency in the NFL should be a brief stopgap to cover up draft mistakes.
Yes.
It's really...
Or for finishing touches.
Yeah, I guess I look at it more as when you blow a draft pick and you need to fill that spot quickly until you can then draft someone else to fill that spot again.
Yeah, in baseball and basketball, you can completely turn your team around for free agency. You can't.
Not so much basketball anymore.
Well, I guess not at this
baseball.
point. But in a way, yeah, okay, with more like or a trade, right? Where in football, you really turn around the team through the draft, with rare exceptions. Obviously, the Rams trading for Stafford was a big deal, but generally, you turn your team around with the draft.
But I look at a guy, just for example,
Yeah.
a guy like Zach Bond, who the Eagles signed last year on a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Hadn't been super productive previously in his career and had an incredible season last year. 151 tackles, 3.5 sacks,
Did he
2
re-sign
picks.
with them?
Re-signed, got a big contract.
Well,
Because
they're the smartest team in the league.
But I'm just
right
saying,
now.
when you go through AB's list, and we'll do this exercise tomorrow on the show, there isn't like that turned out to be a really good even if it's only for a year. The list is, I think Conklin's probably the best. Spoiler alert, I think the second best Koby Altman.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
No, I'm serious. Like, I'm being dead serious.
We always said that his best thing was he made good trades.
What good trades?
Cooper?
He traded for Deshaun Watson, the worst trade in the history of football.
Cooper?
Yeah, that was fine.
Judy?
Fine. The Elijah Moore trade, terrible.
He's running out.
Darius Smith.
Meh.
That one was a wash.
Yeah, it was a
So he made
Ethan Pochich. He traded for Ethan Pochich.
That was a good trade.
but those trades are fine. Whatever.
Postage was a free agent signing, wasn't he?
Well, they traded for him, then re-signed him.
I'm not sure, actually.
He's free. I remember talking to him.
They
He
did,
chose
like,
Cleveland. He had other options. I think that was a free agent.
I thought he did get traded. Now that he said
If the highlight of your resume is trading for Amari Cooper,
This is significant. He has the all-time single game receiving yard game. So
I hear you. If that's the highlight, if that's the best thing on your resume, that's not good.
He signed Austin Hooper as a free agent. He was really good at 3-yard catches and then falling down.
Pochich is on that list. He did sign with the Browns.
Yeah.
I thought they traded for him and then they re-signed him.
So that's probably their second best free agent signing.
Pochich and Conklin and Bjorkes.
what about Dalvin Tomlinson? He was a free agent. He was good for
It was fine.
his first year. Was good, right?
Yeah.
A lot of money for one good year. Coming up in overtime, we can start it now.
Yeah.
But we did not talk at all, Bull, to your pleasure. Cavs second-round draft free. I'm dying to know which second-round prospects you have circled.
How about that big stiff center at Michigan?
Vlad Golden, great choice.
We got 3 minutes, right?
What about George Niang's brother from Italy?
It's not his brother, but I do like Niang. What's up?
What are the Pelicans doing? Somebody please
Yeah,
explain
that was
to me.
crazy.
What are the Pelicans doing?
When do bad teams trade unprotected first-round picks?
It is mind-blowing.
And that was to get up to, what, 12?
13. They moved up 10 spots. They traded unprotected pick to move up, not to move up to 3 or 4 or 5, to move up to 13.
Who'd they get there? Is that guy really good? Or?
They took Derek Queen, who
That's the dude
had
from Maryland.
fallen a little bit. He was considered a top 10 prospect. However, plays almost the exact same position as Zion Williamson. And I can't see a world where those
plays
two play.
being the key words, and Zion doesn't play.
Fair, they're the same body type, too.
Zion's getting traded this season.
But if you're going to trade Zion, which now makes sense, you're going to trade your best player, but you don't have your own first-round pick next year. It makes no –
And you were horrible last year.
Jason, I got a text from one of my Western Conference guys this morning, and he goes, in all caps, LOL, did you see what New Orleans did last night?
It's unbelievable. And by the way, like I keep saying, I really like Atlanta. Atlanta's going to cash in with the because, by the way, it's the better pick between New Orleans and Milwaukee. Who's to say Milwaukee doesn't trade Giannis and totally pull the cord?
Whoa.
So they got 2 shots at the
They got 2 shots.
Whoa.
They'll get the better pick between New Orleans and Milwaukee.
If that exact deal was the same thing, but it was top 10 protected, I'd say, okay, that's fine.
Agree.
Right, it was top 10
But
protected.
unprotected is
Do you understand?
crazy.
Do you understand?
You understand that Giannis is never leaving Milwaukee?
Stop it.
There
Jason,
there was a time when unprotected picks were impossible to get.
Yeah.
Like you had to wait 1,000 days for a unprotected pick to convey. When the Cavs got an unprotected pick that turned out to be Kyrie in the Baron Davis trade, they had to eat like 26 million basically. They had to pay 26 million on Baron's contract to get an unprotected pick.
Atlanta gave up nothing.
Atlanta dropped 10 spots in the first round.
Insane.
And they still got a pretty good prospect in Ace and Newell.
You'd think at the very least they wouldn't have had to give up that 23rd pick, that they'd keep, that they'd have 13 and 23.
Cash consideration.
Yeah. We got one more super chat just came in. DB Dog 21 says, Stefanski's still a young coach. Give him time to get better. If he isn't making the same mistakes, he's growing.
I mean, he's 6 years in. I don't know that you can say he's a young coach anymore.
Not at this point.
Not a hit,
I mean, how many coaches are more tenured than him at this point? Not that many.
Not many. And I mean, everybody can get better. Everybody
Sure,
can grow.
course.
Everybody can grow and learn.
This year will be very telling because nobody expects anything, and if he can pull a rabbit out of a hat and pull 8 and 9.
Man, you are going to die a bloody death on that 8 and 9 hill.
When it happens, Jason, just know when you see me on Sundays, just tip your cap.
The Browns will definitely win 8 or 9 games combined over the next 2 years.
Don't sit there and be shocked.
All right, we'll see you on overtime.
Later.
Time has been saying it for months.